Live. Let people know we exist. Bang. Bang? Hello? There we go. Bang. And make sure I can see the lovely chat, people. As they tell me that I'm awesome and you suck. That they don't do that. Chat's very nice. Well, usually nice. Bam. So, let's get into it. It's been a bit. So, where's my little thing? It tells me what's going on. There it is. It is 1111 of Imperial Reckoning of the Third Imperium. The Third Imperium is in the height of its golden age, enjoying the rulership of Emperor Stefan Elia Akalakoi. Long may he reign. It has been a full year since the armistice ended the Fifth Frontier War between the Jordani Consulate and the Third Imperium. With a return to status quo de jure, but de facto, the Sword Worlds Confederation have lost many of its worlds to become a new Imperial client state formed in the aftermath. A year of postbellum in the Spinwood Marches sector has seen a dynamic shift of recovery, renewal, and opportunity for many a traveler to benefit from. Not the least of which, the lifting of the sector-wide amber status by the Travelers' Aid Society. Between the interests of the mentalist Jordani, the Imperials with their Daryen Confederation allies, seeking to uphold their self-appointed warrant of restoration, and the fiercely independent swordworlders, the will of humanity is made manifest in courts of high pageantry, to the respectable private courts of TAS member lounges, to courts low and dark of spacer bars. Among the million stars, we focus upon one exceptionally fortunate world. We look to the world of Narsil, in the Sword World subsector. It is here where a grand plague that threatened the entire sector, if not all of humanity, was averted from destroying everything. And by the hard work of, led by Professor Calvier Trusani?
Yes.
Trusani. Great wealth has been bestowed, great glory has been bestowed, and fame, and Narsil is actually in rather high spirits. Some of the travelers have gone to share the joy with some of the others that they've encountered when they helped with the endeavor. And notably, after the big payout of releasing this cure to this old plague, has led the Oberlieutenant Hervor to seek out an early retirement with her fame and glory intact, and hopefully a long peace where her weapons will not be needed in the Sword Worlds. Which we leave us at the camera facing toward Calvier and Tarbin in a TS member lounge, having finally gotten away from some people, gotten away from the backslaps and the thank yous and good job. Like, travelers are really ecstatic about it, because the one thing travelers hate to run into is a massive plague, because travelers don't know plague's happening if they're traveling far distances until they get there. So a lot of the travelers are quite relieved, like, oh god, we didn't know there was a plague here. Thanks for fixing that. Good job.
So, just to kind of clean things up before we start the next phase, after paying off the debts and then dividing the remaining assets 5 ways, each of the 5 characters, this includes Hervor, should get 101,040 credits if we just want to start fresh.
Write that down if you will, please.
Yeah, I'll put it in Discord. I'm just going to start us from scratch. Party pool. I think that's the last bit of the bookkeeping.
I will note that normally, because I believe the professor isn't a TES member,
No.
the TES is giving him a. They're allowing him in just because, well, he's the guy who helped cure the plague. It's like, you know what? He can come in. We're cool with it. You know what I mean?
Can I, while I'm here, can I get a membership?
I believe it's 1 million credits for
That's
lifetime
for
membership.
That's for a life membership. It's about half of it is expensive. I can't remember if it's 500k or 400k for a 4-year membership. Because there's life members.
Can I get a year membership, perhaps, or a month, or just something, you know?
Why don't we try, since you led the effort to get rid of this plague, maybe, and so many travelers are grateful, it might be a good time to argue that maybe you should get a lifetime membership.
They do award them.
Yeah.
Aside from them costing $1 million, they do award them. I don't think the book really describes how that works, though.
Perhaps, if they're willing.
It's... Where did I read that? It's in character creation stuff.
Yeah, like that's how I got mine as a scout with at least 3 discoveries. And they do it for some other things too. But this seems to me like it might be something that the TAS would at least consider rewarding you with a lifetime membership.
You know what? Let's see. Give me a die roll there, Calvier.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to figure out how many dice I want to make this. It's gonna be a
And
social standing roll.
If needed as a lifetime member, I can nominate him for one.
That will shave a die off immediately. That because he's getting vouched for by an existing member in good standing. Tis difficult. Debating.
Oh, I take that back. A TAS fellowship, the temporary one, it can't be purchased. You can only purchase a life membership.
Where you get temporary for? What page are you on, by the way, for that?
Oh, 67, 68.
Book one?
It's at the page split. Bottom and top of 67 and 68. And it gives a couple of examples, like award-winning scholar, scout with 3 discoveries, or craftsman with 3 perfect masterpieces, or if you get like basically a Medal of Honor.
Mm-hmm.
I am an award-winning scholar. It's just they haven't seen fit to give me a TAS membership.
They will definitely give you a TAS fellow membership. They will award you that because of the helping cure the plague.
Okay.
So you do have a fellow membership. If you wish to push for a lifetime membership, it was going to be 5 dice. Because of the nomination, it's knocked down to 4. On 4 dice against your social standing, the TAS may award you a lifetime membership.
I'll see if I'll try. Is this a role that can be repeated? Potentially sometime later in the future?
If you do a equally impressive task. Or more.
Oh, yeah, I'll push for it. Let's see what happens. 46, target number is 11. Nada. Zilch. Just shy. Speaking of, we should roll our intuition and luck.
You certainly should. Intuitions. 2d6 for all 3 of you. As a new character will be joining the scene. But
I guess I'm getting luck today.
Snake eyes, wow.
all 2 luck.
Yeah,
And not very useful luck either.
I know, right?
All right, so the professor gets 7 insight. The new mystery person gets 5 curiosity, and the earth sign is ever so lucky with 2. And to reiterate, as always, insight is usually asking why don't we try X or Y, seeing if something is a correct action. Curiosity is if you're trying to figure something out. Why is that a certain way? What is that? And luck, if you whiff, luck can blunt the negative consequences. You still fail, but it's not nearly as bad. Just because you're straight up lucky. So some people at the some of the members, well, for one, you're allowed in because you're a fellow. So that will give you membership for at least the next 4 years. Which also grants you 1 week of accommodations and 1 high passage per month. They accumulate if you don't take them. Quite a few people, some of the travelers are, kind of, during the celebrations, they're like, congratulations getting your fellowship. Yeah, well earned. Too bad about the lifetime, maybe next time. I mean, you have 4 years to get the next one, Ha ha ha.
Or I get 1 million credits and then we roll.
Yeah, the merchants are going, oh, you could just always buy it, I was like, well, I mean, we do need funding, so.
So, Darben, what is the next step of our little adventure, considering we lost a member?
We're still on that last planet in the Sword Worlds.
Narsil,
Narsil, yes.
Narsil, okay. Well, I mean, say we continue on the journey since we've got things booked already, and we'll meet up. We'll have to wait on our sponsor for a few weeks, I believe, and then see what type of ship we're able to build. And in the meantime, we could always look for another partner to raise the number of shares we have.
Look around the Traveler's Lounge. Anyone here that looks like they might have a lot of shares on them?
Well, funny enough, one TAS member walks over, having waited, with sufficient, etiquette to kind of not mob you with everyone else. Plus, this particular person seems to have something more in mind than just saying good job. A character description, if you would please.
Sir Calcian Langhoff is a 5'10" human Soleimani, or Soleimani, the humankind.
Is he Soleimani or is he humanity?
I think you might be asking, is he Soleimani of the Soleimani Confederation, or is he Soleimani of the Empire, or Daryen Soleimani? Because the Soleimani have 3 major population centers.
Yeah.
Not just the people that attacked.
That lost the
yeah.
war.
Yeah.
Well, that too, I suppose.
But you might be able to tell he's Soleimani by looking at him. You definitely can't tell what kind of Soleimani.
Yeah, on a glance, you can tell a Soleimani versus a Villani versus a Shodani. There's certain things that kind of make, like even the Sword Worlders look more Soleimani than Villani, but Sword Worlders go out of their way to highlight that they're not Soleimani.
Right. Okay, fair enough.
He's wearing clothing to suggest a high station, including a sash that marks him as a knighted member of the Daryen Confederacy.
So a long, flowery script, in some of it in the Daryen language, and some of it in you would probably have Valand and the Zedel written on it as well, because those are the nearest populations to them. Humanity populations. They don't bother with the Sword Worlder. They're kind of mad. They figure they could just learn a real language.
And Calcian will walk up and say, Mr. Arctos, or Professor Trasani, may I? And I'll point to a chair.
Please join us, Sir Knight.
I don't suppose you're here to wish us congratulations as well?
Actually, I should start with that. It is a most noble and profitable venture, I imagine. Definitely saved a lot of Sword Worlders, and I'm sure it has not put you in a worse financial situation.
You're quite right there. How can we help you?
It's more about what I can do for you. You see, I have plans for a new class of Daryen automated armored trader, and I need to bring in a few more key investors on the ground floor. And I think with your fame and reputation, and perhaps your ability to fundraise now off of your name, you may be two people who could help sponsor this venture.
Tarbin, are you sure we don't have any psychic powers? Weren't we asking for something like this just now?
When you look over Tarbin, because you're a seasoned TES member at this point, because you've had it for a while, I believe. You notice one of the main secretaries of this lounge kind of raises his glass to you to kind of let you know, yeah, he's one of us, sort of thing. So likely they knew what you guys were planning, and they went, "Hey, this guy's looking for people. Your people looking for people. Well, make sure you meet each other." Travelers look out for travelers.
Well, as a matter of fact, one of our companions has just fully retired back to the border worlds. So we are on our way to Daryen itself. We have an appointment with a shipbuilder, a shipwright, and a person with contacts in that field on Daryen in order to build a vessel, whether or not that might be capable of building a ship of the considerable size, which it seems that you're suggesting, or not. But we are headed to the highest tech shipbuilding planet in the Confederacy.
Perhaps you would allow me to join you and let me introduce you to my plan a little deeper. You know, I'm not just looking for any travelers. I was told that you have a considerable mind for engineering, Mr. Arctos, and I find that highly valuable.
Now, in the scout service, you have to kind of know how to fix everything, and that was my service during the late war with the Imperial Navy.
Well then,
But before we can offer you a seat with us, how many ship shares do you possess currently?
Oh, yes, we should discuss numbers. Unfortunately, at this stage, I'm somewhat impoverished compared to my people of my social standing in the Confederacy. I only have 19. All of them certified. I should point that out.
For Calvier or Tarbin, I'd like each of you to roll, let's say, intelligence plus streetwise 3 dice.
If I don't have streetwise, that makes it this is hard, which means this is 4 dice?
Yep.
Okay, starting to get a hang of this. No.
Just, I needed a 13.
Did I say all of them were certified?
Man, that name, Calcian Langoff, that, you know that from somewhere. You know you do. But it didn't have a Sir in front of it. He wasn't a Daryen knight either. What's that about? You read during the war. Oh yeah, there's like this huge scheme that went off at the tail end of the war that involved a grand defrauding of the Grand Museum of Music Studio. And then this guy, was made the president of the Music Society of Sword Worlds, and then scampered off with it and got himself a knighthood with the Daryen because he basically robbed the Sword Worlders of a lot of money.
Yeah, I was kind of essentially the Sword World's cultural minister for a few years.
And then he scampered with way too much money. Hence why he has a knighthood and so many shares. But you connect those dots, Tarbin. You're like, you think about it, like, you remember hearing about that. It's like, that's the guy.
Yeah, and
Tarbin says, after his first explosive breath of surprise at the 19 shares, which was strong enough to ruffle Langhoff's sash, Tarbin says, yes, that is quite impressive, Sir Calzian. We would, of course, have our advocate help us draw up any contracts just to make sure that all of our interests are properly represented.
We have an advocate? Since when? I don't remember hiring one.
No, that's I'm blanking on his name. The Hiver.
Niak N.
He's Niak. Niak N is an advocate as well as a vac suit specialist.
He's the reason why the Susag wasn't able to rob you blind of your patent.
Yep.
How can he type up contracts with those nasty hands of his?
he can actually type them quite fast.
They're not nasty. Don't be so speciesist.
He looks like a starfish.
Technically, is a starfish.
Just his facial parts.
Yes, sorry, you were saying.
No doubt my reputation might have preceded me, but
Yes, I understand you are quite the lover of music.
If you have never heard the Crime Symphony in its full glory, then you might actually live a few years longer.
I'll also note Grom is the capital of the Sword Worlds Confederation. It was the capital of the entire subsector until the Border Worlds happened, and now it's just the capital of half the subsector.
There is a lot of great money and land to be had in the Sword Worlds. There is almost no good music to be had. They'll hire anyone.
Well,
lots of heavy metal.
I can't claim to have any particular expertise in the realm of music, so.
Neither do I.
But yes, 19 shares seems to be quite a significant amount. I have to ask. I have 3 shares, and Professor Trusani here has 1. It does kind of lead me to ask, with 19 shares, why are you seeking further investors? You could be the sole owner of quite an impressive ship.
Because ships take crew to run, and crew that are invested in the ship seem to have a certain understanding about the necessity to maintain the ship. Hired crew have a tendency to run away after the first profit.
Well, and your maintenance costs on a 1,100 ton ish ship.
That's the plan.
Going to be a pretty penny.
But the kind of ships you've seen in the Sword Worlds running cargo, we have cargo bays that could carry those ships. So money will be complicated, but it won't be difficult.
Tarbin kind of looks at Calver with a raised bare brow.
I also bring with me a certain number of credits in the mega credit range that will help finance us for the first year.
The mega credit range, you said?
Mega credit range. Courtesy of our friends in the Sword Worlds.
I hate to ask, but what are
Music
your
certainly
skills?
is a lucrative career.
Are you just a musician? What are your skills? What can you bring to the table aside from a daring flute performance, perhaps?
I've spent many years in a proper merchant fleet and know the ins and outs of trading. I've worked on merchant ships with significant astrogation and gunning responsibilities too. So general starship tasks and a significant amount of knowledge in the realm of trade and brokerage. I also have some ability to sniff out business of the less than legal nature.
I see. I hope this business of a less than legal nature won't get us into trouble with the more than legal authorities.
I always intend to never be in the place where the less than legal business happens after it's happened for very long. I find if you don't stay around, they have trouble looking into the matter.
Tarbin, what
And
say you?
if you're on a jump 4 ship, you can get away pretty fast.
Jump 4, you say?
Jump 4.
Well, I can't say I'm not interested. We still have a couple of jumps to make. We could sit down and look over whatever plans you may have and see what we all think, and if we like it, we can seal the deal on Daryen.
Well, this gives us an appropriate amount of time to get to know one another. Perhaps engage in some schemes to some financial schemes together.
I'm glad that you mentioned financial. If it was just schemes, I would have been a bit worried.
Sorry,
But yes.
my Anglic is not as great as it used to be. I spend most of my time speaking Samagolan to Zold.
Come with us, break bread with us, engage in business with us, share our funds for the time
What a
being.
great idea! Perhaps we dine at whatever the best this planet has to offer tonight.
I suppose we have some... Well, we would have done that anyway. We're heroes on this bloody planet.
Right, and you should be appropriately rewarded. Let me
Sir
look
Langoff.
into that.
Sir Langoff. Give me intelligence plus streetwise 3 dice. It's in regards to your idea to be outside of the starport for any length of time. Meanwhile...
Oh, yeah!
Ask your tour guide anything. If a ship is traveling coreward at jump 4 and another ship is traveling rimward at jump 3, assume their starting location is 40 light years apart. How long until the intercept? This and many more questions will not be answered.
Yeah,
because you've asked the wrong GM to make that calculation.
Your first problem was assuming that light years meant anything. You need to do your math in parsecs.
I paid for it. You paid in channel points.
I'll tell you the answer. 7. There. Does that satisfy you?
He's a professor. He knows what he's talking about.
Oh, and this was why it was important to learn that thing about life pursuits, because this changes my check from under 13 to under 14.
Shakespeare said parsecs. Author was just talking about that a couple days ago about how he didn't like parsecs as a measurement.
Oh, I forgot if you do it less than like that, it doesn't work.
What the?
That's 5. No, that's 12. Yeah, I did less than 14 to try to roll under, but I forgot that. Right, that shows you how many of the dice were less than 14.
Yeah.
Not how many. But
you did
3
succeed.
plus 3 plus 6 is 12. Yeah.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of sword worlders who want you dead. Because you're pretty famous in the sword world subsector. In the starport, they wouldn't dare because it's the starport. If you piss off the starport authority enough, they pull out of the starport, and now you have a whole different problem.
And besides, nothing was legally proven. I got away. I don't want to test that theory.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it's not like they have a trial by combat structure in the Sword Worlds or anything.
Actually, perhaps we dine tonight in the starport.
I see.
But
Well,
but there's this fantastic little restaurant just outside the starport.
I tell you what, I will hire out the chef to come here tonight.
Can you get you takeaway in your hotel room?
Right.
I'm going to take away the chef. Can I try to arrange hiring out the chef of this restaurant for the night to come serve us in the lounge?
The lounge has chefs. If you want a special order something, you're members. They'll accommodate you.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get the chef that Tarbin wants here.
I don't really think that's necessary.
That's not really necessary. The chefs here at the
Oh, okay.
The
I mean,
Traveler Society
anything
Hotel are quite adequate.
anything for my new partners.
No.
Did they give you a medal? Did y'all get a medal?
We said we would break bread, and we said we would share our profits for the time being, but be assured we are not partners yet. We shall reach that conclusion by Daryen.
Oh, but it's all but assured at this point. But yes, we should go through the formalities.
Naturally, and have our starfish strapped up a contract.
2, 3, 4, 5.
He's a hiver.
And to answer your question, chat, approximately 6 days. Not 6 days, sorry. Each jump is 2 weeks. So 6 times 14. So about 84 days. That's my guess. Live with it.
Tarbin, how long are we still stuck here?
When does our flight leave, GM?
The ship that you called upon, you guys were here a while, but the plague shut everyone down, so
Right.
they're still here.
So they're probably leaving fairly quickly now, though.
Yeah, they're waiting till the celebrations are over, so they're probably heading out sometime tomorrow. They're thinking midday, just to give everyone time to get the hangovers to wane.
Shall we see if we can pick up anything about those minerals now that the ports have opened up? You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Are you in the mineral business?
No, not quite like that. We have a contract to look out for any suspicious quantities of minerals and other raw materials coming into starports from...
You'll have to let me help you with this. I could look into some of the transactions going out in the starport for you.
If you could, that would be great. And let's reconvene tomorrow and see if we have anything now that the starports have opened. And until then, I shall see you tonight for dinner. Both of you, I hope.
I wouldn't miss it.
Sorry, the player's still looking over his notes.
Will the bear be joining me for dinner?
Yes.
The bear will have you for dinner.
Gentlemen, I shall retreat to my quarters for the time being to study some note. I'll see you tonight.
The professor carries on his merry way. What do Tarbin and Sir Calcian do?
Would you like to go to the... I assume there's like a trading room, like maybe attached to the TS Lounge or somewhere on the starport, like where people go. That's the common place to do business.
Yeah, there's like a brokerage floor in starports, especially that's usually focused on it's a benefit for people trying to get cargo off planet and people coming by to purchase cargo.
Would you like to go to the brokerage floor?
Not particularly. We're heading from a lower tech to a higher tech, aren't we?
Oh, I purely meant for the benefit of your friend. But I could also investigate the possibility of cargo from this planet.
GM, refresh me. I can't seem to find in my notes what the contract is for that. Or Calvi, if you could refresh the player's memory.
Well, if I recall correctly, it was something about trouble brewing Corward. And was it Corward or was it Starward? I'm not sure anymore. In any case, there were suspicious quantities of minerals and raw materials showing up at starports somewhere. And our task was to find out where they came from.
Oh, this is the job the Sir Wendell von Alfer gave you.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I know what you're talking about now.
If you could fill in any gaps that I'm missing, perhaps, that would be swell.
Corruption in Lunian subsector. I found it.
Yep.
Wants Calvier to keep an eye out for misappropriations from Lunian mines. And then it goes on to something else, but the job's worth 200,000. So yeah, the brokerage is not a bad idea, but I think you'll probably have more luck seeing something there than I will. I may head down to some of the less savory ends of the starport and see what I can find out from the Longshoremen's Union and the Dock Workers Union. I might be able to get some sense if there's any under the table cargoes being loaded.
Well, this seems like a good way to handle things. Do you have sufficient insurance for asking questions like that to people who don't like answering questions? I would
Carbon
hate to.
Will stand up from the table to his full 9-foot height and kind of stretch and drum his dinner plate size 4-inch clawed hands on the table. I do all right.
I have never considered bear claws in that application, but I still suggest some sort of handgun if you're going to engage in such activities. I would hate for you to perish after having just met you. Of course, don't violate any laws or be caught doing
the
it.
traveler map is down. I was gonna see what's the
You want to know the law level?
There it goes, Narsel.
The law level doesn't matter as long as you're in the spaceport, right?
As long as you, the minute you leave into the Star City, then you start worrying about it. But in the starport itself, you're subject to the starport authority. So it's...
Oh, was Tarbin leaving the starport to talk to these people?
Likely will if you're going to a...
Oh, okay, never mind.
It says personal concealable weapons prohibited.
Yep.
So yeah, Tarbin will open carry his alternate magnum pistol.
Yeah, that law level's for like body pistols and conceals. Yeah.
Right. I see magnum and I'd never consider that it also weighs over 4 pounds.
Oh wow.
1.3 kilograms. Oh wait, no, not over 4 pounds, but close to 3.
I was about to say, I built a Magnum accelerator for half a pound.
This was straight out of the book. I actually got it based on the damage. It does bullet 4, which is pretty good for a slug thrower.
Mm-hmm. Just enough to make someone question whether or not they should be screwing with you or not.
Right. So.
All right, then. Actually, yeah. Make sure you don't break any laws. And I will meet back with you later to compare notes.
Oh, sounds good. The bear will head off muttering about Calzian Langhoff warning me about breaking laws.
I'll Sir
Capone
Calcium
says to
Langhoff
chill, you know.
I will walk away muttering about doing pro bono work.
Oh, pro bono, it's worth $200,000.
Oh, I just assumed I was not getting a cut of that. Because I didn't take the job.
We're trying you out. You don't know.
Maybe they're scheming you. Maybe they're not actually travelers. They're totally travelers. That's the benefit of dealing with travelers. Like, no,
Right,
the TAS is kind of vouch for them. They know what they are. And if the TAS thought Calzin was trying to pull something, like, yeah, heads up, he's a schemer. Or tell you, or war Calzian, hey, yeah, that's a lifetime member over there, same as you. Try not to screw them, please.
Hey, GM, when you're certifying in, say, engineering, what's the usual characteristic you're rolling against? Intelligence or dexterity or what?
It's dex at the lower level, qualifications at higher ones. I make it intelligence because you're getting to theory. So it depends what
Okay.
at what level you're qualifying.
Okay, cool.
Can I do something while the two of them go
No.
about their business?
No, that's what you get.
You should have
So you get for leaving
took part
first.
in the mission.
No, you totally can.
This recent experience with this disease and everything has actually made Calver woefully realize how, for a professor of biology, how woefully underskilled he actually is. I'd like to go to the library. I'd like to study.
Like in the Star City? Or you're looking up stuff
Yeah.
online? Okay.
Yeah.
Can I not pull stuff up? What am I doing? Oh. Don't mind me, I was trying to change stuff in the wrong window. There we go. There we go. I'm smart. City. So, Professor, you wanted to do what again? Sorry, I was distracted with graphics. Study. What are you looking up in particular?
Biology. Because I realized how woefully underqualified I am for someone who is a professor of biology, and I'd like to get better. I'll grab as many books as I can, and, like I did back in university, cram my head full of knowledge.
Remember, for your if you're rolling biology because you have it as a life pursuit, you get a mod of +1.
Excellent.
That's a target number mod, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
If
it doesn't make it more difficult, right? It
Right,
makes
right.
it easier, so it's a target number mod.
Yeah.
If it was a
Dice mod
Mod
be a
to the-
negative.
yeah. You're trying to learn this, so it's harder. I don't know.
How deep into the hole are you going on biology?
Welcome
How
to molecular chemistry.
like are you going
Well,
like
I
are you going
already
for-
know the basics. I know the basics, and I know a bit because I did get my master's degree in it, so I'd like to dig a bit deeper than that.
I will say given where you are and you're going to the Star City, Star Town, I should say. Sorry. That is, I'll call that 5 dice. Education biology.
Okay.
And are you basically like spending the whole night and the next morning working on this?
Yes, whole night and the next morning, and if possible, I'd like to borrow the books that I'm studying from if I'm not done with them, so I can study them on the ship. I'll return them at the library in the next port, essentially. Or, if better yet, if I can purchase them as a portable repository, I shall do so for my laptop.
We'll call that 200 credits if you just want to buy the book data off them.
Sure. Yeah, I'll buy the book data.
So I will give you another modifier to your target number +1 because you're going to be having the text and you're going to be reading them over a long period of time. I'll also knock down because you're going to be spending so much time on it. You're basically doing a cautious roll. So I'm going to knock down 1 die. So you're rolling 4 dice, not 5, with +2 to your target number.
Did you account this the plus for my life pursuit?
Yes.
Okay.
Because 1 for light pursuit, 1 for the books.
So I have a roll of 18 on 4 dice. Not bad. There we go.
So one of the big things that's being researched right now that will jump out at you over the course of the today and the next day and part of the journey is there seems to be a theoretical correlation between iridium and the psionic latent impulses and sophons, and that there is some idea of trying to combine some of the psionic awakening in people through the use of iridium. The problem is iridium is a very it's not really used to put into people unless you're replacing stuff. It's used for like if you're making iridium anything in a sophont, you're making a cybernetic part. This new theoretical application is combining iridium with certain psi drugs to possibly enhance or speed the process without having the test on the sanity. The big hurdle is that it requires sophont testing, like sapient sophont testing, something that's sonically capable. The problem with that is that if you screw up, you could cause, you could stunt psionics, you could cause other side effects. So no one's really played in that arena, but that's you're seeing the possibilities. You're seeing that's kind of that's the golden goose that people are kind of looking into in the sector.
Okay, cool. I'll copy that data. I bought the books. I'll walk out of the Star City and go wait for the ship to leave. In the meantime, studying on my laptop.
Tarbin or Calcian, who wants to brave their lives next?
Sure, I'll go. So yeah, I'm going to go out amongst the the docks and dock workers, loaders, and try and hit some off-duty bars, restaurants in the Star City, whatever, that cater to such people, and see what I can pick up about minerals coming in, perhaps through either stuff about minerals coming in through unusual or unofficial channels from the Lunian sector, or anything even just about Jesus Christ. I don't know what's going on in Lunian. I've been loading 6 times the amount of minerals from them transshipping to wherever that we were a month ago.
I'll treat this as a personal interaction query first to kind of ask around and feel out who knows what and who's willing to tell you stuff.
Right.
So that's 2 dice as a purpose. 184 if you want to follow along. Book 1. Yeah. Sounds like you are actively listening, trying to feel out who knows what. So query, actively listening.
Doesn't look like there's any multipliers or bonuses for that.
For listening it, no. Oh yeah, that's right. The only thing would be similarity, which would give you +1, because you're worker to worker.
Right.
We're all talking with each other.
Okay, I mean, I can talk the language because part of steward skill is cargo master kind of.
I'll let you
stuff.
add Stewart to it. That's a good.
So
That's a mod. I'll let you throw in.
That's 2. So I need to look at tactics. Yeah, they're not really tactics that apply. Doesn't look like.
Brazen, I think. If you're just like coming out and but you're actively listening. You're not.
Right.
Yeah.
You can still do brazen if it's a query or a persuade.
I just didn't know if it worked because he's actively listening, right?
So,
Yeah,
any
no,
smuggling going on, guys? Chime me in. Like, that'd be
Oh,
brazen.
yeah. Okay, you're right.
Not really doing that. I mean, the only thing I could argue is, I'll take the bonus from the steward skill. So what am I rolling now?
So 3 plus your steward on 2 dice. See if anyone just happens to bring it up and gives you information you're looking for.
5 on 2 dice. Jesus. Well, there you go.
Well, there you go. I did have a follow-up roll if that biffed, but don't worry about it. So as you're asking around, there's this short Imperial human, Villani human to be more exact. He's kind of chatting with some crew that are friends of his that he's known for a while. He's gone on trips with them before on other assignments. And he discusses how he is working on this whole new project, and he's really glad that it's going well, and a lot of funding's been freed up because the plague's been cured and stuff. And he's asking around, say, hey, so the reason I'm talking to you guys, and you eventually meander over there. They're not taking great efforts to hide what they're talking about, and you don't look suspicious, so you're not acting suspicious. Right. And he's like, do you have any, have you heard of any iridium on some of the ships you're on and that you've been loading and stuff? And they say, yeah, we've been hearing some stuff, and yeah, there's been this, that, and the other. They try not to talk, they try not to name names, so to speak, but if you're sitting there long enough and listening to them talk, and no one here looks like Starport Authority cops, or no one looks like a spook or spy, an agent of anyone in particular.
Right.
And you don't get, they never say exactly how much, but they say, if you ask around some of the captains, you could probably find what you're looking for, especially if they are Villani or Zolomani, is the tip they give him. So they're telling him who he could be asking around for, which inadvertently they let you know that right. Certain, if anyone's moving it, it's Villani and Zolomani captains in dock. There are someone here is moving iridium, rather in enough quantities that a person of a researcher would care about it.
Okay. Cool. Well, and after I think I've learned as much as I can learn, and it's getting time to head back for dinner, I'll do so without, being particularly suspicious.
Yep. Oh yeah, people. No one. Since you weren't brazen about it, no one meets you in a dark alley somewhere.
Cool.
Sir Calzian.
I want to. I guess first of all, can I get the trade classification for this world? And I think the book says you can get trade classifications for nearby worlds too.
Yep. Especially as a traveler, you can get that stuff just from the lounge because they trade that information easily. So going Narsil itself is a high population industrialized main world.
Which is high in, right?
Yep. Hey though, fellow kids, got any crimes that everyone's been doing? I want to get me some criminal activities. Dog. Not an undercover cop. Anyway.
And I don't know off the top of my head what the planets nearby are to ask.
Andoril is the other way. Spoom is where you're jumping to, and then Daryen. Actually, I can show you the map real quick because. You guys are here.
Yeah, if I can get them for Andoril, Spoom, and Daryen, I'll take those three.
Certainly. So, Andoril is rich, pre-agricultural, and pre-high population. RIPAPH. Let me know when you're good for the next one.
RIPHPI?
RIPAPH. Actually, I'll put them in Discord. It's just faster that way. I just realized.
Okay, yeah. Because that's what I'm doing.
I'll tag that Andoril. And you want a Daryen?
Yeah.
I can't spell.
Desert Hell World.
Yeah, Spoom is not a friendly place. Point of fact, the population of Spoom is somewhere numbers in the hundreds for the entire main world. 30 rocks, Steve Buscemi meme.
Okay, so this world's not terrible to buy goods at. It's kind of expensive, but it's not terrible. Daryen, let's see, this world only has rich. So basically, without getting into tech level effects, the base cost here is 4,000 a ton, and it's selling goods is 6,000 a ton in Daryen. So, if you bought them here, so I mean, there's money to be made if you can get the broker roll right. But only for Daryen, not for the other two worlds. Oh, did you give me the one for Narsil?
Oh, I believe I did.
Because I didn't actually calculate the cost for Narsil to Daryen. I did it for Andoril to Daryen.
For Narsil. Click. High population industrialized.
Oh, man. High population industrial. This is the perfect world to buy goods from. They're only 1,000 a ton. Yeah, I'm gonna need to know what cargo space we have on the ship we're leaving on. But before that, because I don't want to get bogged down. I definitely do want to engage in some trading, but from Narsil is high in industrial. Because I know I can look up. I don't think high population or industrials have specific tables for what goods they sell. Looking for bulk metals. Right, bulk minerals is what we're worried about. What is DE?
Desert.
Oh. Spoom is a market for bulk mineral. It's not a market. You could buy bulk minerals on Spoom.
Which is why anyone bothers to go there. It's for mining.
Yeah. But Narsil doesn't have a market. It's not one of the random goods you could buy here, I don't think. I mean, it might use them, it just doesn't sell them. It doesn't sell bulk mineral.
Yeah, did they tell you what planet they're worried about stuff being moved from?
No, they didn't.
Okay, I won't say any further.
I don't think y'all did. They just asked me to look into trade imbalances.
Mm-hmm.
So, which I can already tell is going to result in me giving you the wrong information, because
you do have, as a TS member, you do have access to the free new server stuff, so that stuff is known to you. Not sure how much that helps you, though, because the job is something that the knight told the professor.
I don't think it's listed in there where the...
No, it doesn't talk about the mining thing, I don't think.
No. And what I was going to say is, because if I look into this, what I'm going to find is, yeah, there's tons of excess minerals here, because one jump away is a desert hell world that's being mined, and here there is an industrial high population world that needs resources. So of course there's going to be a lot of minerals moving through here. I guess can I try to offer my services as a broker to anyone on world or on a ship that's trying to get deals, like some firm that makes steel or something, or makes some refined metal, is looking to ship their stuff off world. Can I offer my services as a broker to find them a ship?
To what end? Because you could. I'm just wondering what your goal is.
Well, a little bit of a consideration for being a broker, but also if I put myself in between someone trading in bulk minerals and someone buying bulk minerals, or vice versa, a ship coming in with bulk minerals that's trying to sell it, I might get some information just from talking to them, right?
I'll take intelligence plus your broker skill and 6 dice. Because you're trying to get very detailed information in a rapid manner.
Jack of all trades protects me. So I add my Jack of all trades up to the difficulty, or just total?
For the purpose of seeing if this is hard, you add your skill plus the Jack of all trades And then if that is enough if that equals the number that you're rolling, then you don't treat it as this is hard. But you don't add Jack of all trades to your roll because that's not. It's just a this is hard check to see if it is hard for you.
So broker is normally 4. It's a life focus, so I get +1 as a mod. And my intelligence is 10. That gives me a 15, which means this is not. Would having a portable computer to help me track trades that people are talking about?
I'll give you +1 for that, sure.
It gets me to 16. Probably all that will be managed. Oh my god. But I got 2 1s. Does that matter?
You need 3.
I need 3. Oh.
2 1s is only auto success if it's just 2 dice.
I don't think there's anything on my sheet to save this.
You get 200 credits for helping people out.
That was I helped arrange a trade for like 3 crates.
Like, hey, if you're offering to broker this, sure, I'll pay you. I'm good with it. Cool. Oh, that's anything suspicious? Read through it. No. Oh, well, that took a lot of my time.
I mean, but I am correct that I can report that there are a ton of minerals here, because of course there would be. Because this is an industrial world that's 2 jumps away, or 1 jump 2 away from a desert world. Or would that be incorrect?
Anything that's jump 1 is fairly common. Jump 2, it'd be a little harder to get at. Especially between the Sword Worlds and the Daryen Confederation.
In fact, there's not a lot of minerals here then.
Because the way you would go, if I pull you back to the map.
Yeah, you'd go the really long way.
Yeah, the only 1 jump route is from Tizon to Kunak.
And I'm sure.
And even then, you're not even on the express boat lane at that point. You'd express up to Tizon, and then very slowly work your way over to and then you're able to express your way.
Narsil is about as far from Spoom as you can get on jump 1. On jump 2, it's like a 7-day journey. On jump 1, it's like 6 months.
Yeah.
All right.
So certain travelers will benefit from this, but your average merchant ship doesn't bother. They stick with 1. They go tick tick tick. They'll go parsec to parsec and get their money that way.
Well then, I have nothing else to do at the moment, but I definitely do want to find out whatever ship Tarbin and Calvi are traveling on. I need to know how much cargo they have, because if the captain will let me, I'm gonna buy some cargo. Do
you have a ticket for this journey?
I assume, being a TAS member, that I have 1 high pass, because you get 1 high pass a month. So do I start with 1, or do I have to wait a month to get the first one?
Wow, when'd you get it?
I purchased it, and the money that I would have got to purchase it would have come at the end of the last term, and we've been playing for a few months, so
you'd probably have a couple tickets, because a few months has come and gone since you became, because your character's probably been a traveler for the last little while, trying to find someone else to use these shares with. It's like, I can't find anyone who's worth my time.
We could say 3 high passes or 2 high passes.
Well, we could say 3.
Okay, we'll say 3. Then yes, I do have high passage.
Cool. So they're willing to tell you then. It's like, if you don't have a ticket, why am I telling you anything? So.
Well, I assume now I actually only have 2 high passages because I'm using 1.
Yeah. Disappointed, Arthur. You didn't make any long road jokes the other day. I did lots of long roads. Some I didn't really want to take on because it was involuntary.
That's the thing in Traveler. You're going to be doing a lot of involuntary long roads on jump one.
I had a super powerful AI say, "Hey, you came to my thing. Cool, go this way now." And I'm on a different part of the galaxy. I'm like, "Thanks. I now have to get back home." Wait, what am I doing? What am I doing? Friggin' flux. Smart guy. There are 30 tons free in the cargo. Currently, on the Far Trader.
All right.
Which they will probably try to fill with something else if no one else comes on. But if some passenger says, "Hey, I got a thing," sure, we'll take your thing.
What's the tech level of this world?
Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. Narsil is A.
That's 10.
Yep.
By my estimation, that would take 60,000 credits to purchase enough goods. Because Narsil is high pop, so the base cost is 3,000. High population knocks it down to 2,000. Industrial knocks it down to 1,000. And then you add the tech level effect, which would be 10 times 100, which is 1,000. So that would be 1,000 plus 1,000 per ton. So 2,000 a ton. And then all the rest of the math doesn't matter till we actually get the place to sell it. Oh, and we have 2 jumps to make, so he's going to charge me freight times 2, right?
Yep.
So 2,000. So you could say for me to get these materials, it's going to be 4,000 a ton.
To ship it, yeah.
To buy it and ship it is 120. But the base price at the world is 6K, so
So what you doing?
I've almost got the answer. I need to know.
What do you need to know?
I need to know the tech level effect on the selling world. Which makes this unprofitable because of how high tech level Daryen is. So the cost of the goods, the cost for me to get the goods there is 4,000 a ton. But and on a tech level A world, I'd be able to sell those for 6,000 a ton, right? Making 2,000 a ton plus profit, unless my broker screwed me on the actual value table. But because the the source world, because Daryen is a tech level 16 world, goods from a tech level A world only have 60% of their value, right? Because Daryens can build better things.
Mm-hmm.
So that results in the sell price only being 3,600, meaning if my broker sold them for their actual value without any modification on Daryen, I would be making a minus 400 profit because of the 2 jumps we have to make. If we didn't have to make any jumps, right, if I was the person buying the cargo and transporting it, this would be a profitable deal.
And I'll also note that you would have to, before you did anything as well, you'd have to do the trade roll, which is 3 die with one of them uncertain. If you got lucky and got like triple ones, then you'd have some weird. There'd be a modifier I would do that you got a screaming deal on the goods when you buy them.
Oh, I'm allowed to roll. I know on the trader roll for the actual value table, I'm allowed to roll 1 dice without committing. Would you consider that here?
Oh, where does it say that? What page?
221.
Book.
2. There's an that's where the example explains it. Where the actual rule is, I would have to find it.
Yeah.
But at the bottom, in the example, it says Beowulf offers the cargo on the actual value table. His first die roll equals 1. The best value he can get for the goods is 100%. And that's because, like, he could roll the other 3 dice. He doesn't have to wait to see the other dice. He cancels the transaction because he sees what the first roll is, and it's not going to be good.
It's actual value is a flux thing.
Yes, and you get to see the first die of it before you commit.
His first die roll, you would roll the flux to see what the percentage is. Because flux is determined by 2 dice.
Oh. You get to see the first die of the flux.
First die roll. I'm looking at the same thing you are.
Yeah, his first die rolls a 1. But the flux is 2 dice.
But I'll make an executive decision here because that feels weird how they wrote that, because you wouldn't know. Oh wait, how would you? What?
That's the point. As a trader, you can back out halfway through the deal by seeing the first dice. I think it's actually in the skill description. The result is, unless I rolled 3 ones, this would not be profitable. So, I mean, we don't have to. We don't have to get into the weeds this time. But.
It's under trading commerce. That's where it is. It's in book 1. That's where it is. Okay. Okay, I see what they're doing. Okay. That makes way more. Okay. No wonder I was split up across 2 books. Damn you, Miller.
Yeah.
But thanks for making the game.
Calcian size is right. If I had my ship here, I could make a killing. But because I gotta pay this oath of a captain to just ship it, right? I can't make anything. Also, it's really difficult to sell anything on Daryen that wasn't made on Daryen because of the tech level effect.
Yeah. All right then. Tarbin, are you back?
Yes.
Okay. So I will have the 3 of you gather then. Whoopsie. You 3 were eating at the lounge again?
Yep.
Yes.
At some point during dinner. So, Calvert, I spoke to some people and listened to some people speaking. It looks like there's a fairly significant amount of iridium moving through the starport. That seems to be a bit more than is usual to this port.
That can't be right. Look at this research that I dug up today at the library in the Star City. Iridium has an effect on Sophon's psychic abilities, apparently. I'll slide over the research. Doesn't it seem curious?
Tarvin will kind of cock his head to one side or another, this being well outside his field. Could you summarize, perhaps?
Well, think about it. Large amounts of iridium are coursing through this starport, going to God only knows where. And now this groundbreaking research that iridium affects the psychic abilities of Sophons. Perhaps that is the missing link.
And I'll addend to that because you'd know this from looking it up a bit. Elemental iridium is exposed to vacuum and gases and is created into like a sponge texture, and that's used as for positronic brains. It's also used in like starship building and stuff, but that's the big trade. It's either putting it into ship hulls or putting it into positronic brain systems. That's what most people know about.
It all seems a bit curious though, doesn't it? Right now. I stumble upon this research, you stumble upon the iridium. Did you happen to see where it went? Or where it's going?
You know of certain species of captains that may or may not be trading in it. We haven't found precisely who that is.
No, I know that Villani and Zolamani are captains, seem to be trading in it, and I know that there is a buyer. This is the conversation that I overheard. Someone acting as an agent looking to acquire some iridium. And through his conversations with some other folks, it appeared that there was a fairly significant amount of iridium here that could be potentially purchased.
GM inside question.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the right path to go about this? Is this an actual lead?
Give me 2. What's your insight number
7.
right now? 7? I believe you still owe me 2. I might be wrong. Hold on.
I think it is. It only at 6 it goes down.
Less than 7, yeah. So you owe me 2.
Nope.
Goes down by 1. I couldn't tell you.
Perhaps it is something we should look into. We'll see. What is our next stop on the journey, anyhow?
We stop at y'all's flight plan calls to go by Spoon, which is not a place you're actually going to want to stop at and leave the high port, right?
Right. Well, tell me, Professor, do like actual true AIs, do they use positronic brains, or is that a whole nother step?
GM, would I know?
Education, I'll call it 2 dice. Plus computers as a skill, so this is hard, 3. Unless you have computers, which I think you do.
I do, but it's at a 2, if I'm not mistaken. No, actually, I don't.
Oh, well, never mind. Yeah, so it's 3 for you on education.
Did
You might just happen to know that off the top of your head.
I could swear I had it.
You have programming or something, I think?
Yeah, I got programming.
That's what it is. That's unfortunate.
Don't know my way around a computer, but man, can I code in C++.
If we're still doing C++ in the far, far future, I have many questions.
I do know, as a matter of fact.
All right.
Just wait till you see our ASCII file.
No. The future is drawn in ASCII. Sorry, I need a minute. Oh, that hurt me a little bit. Right. I was looking this up. We were looking that up. Repeat question, just make sure I heard it correctly.
Do AIs truly have positronic brains, or is that just a whole nother level?
Keep going. Yep. So a positronic brain is something that can be installed. It is the highest form of a brain for a console, for a computer system.
I'll tell you, yes.
A structured iridium sponge contains a raw pattern of possible neural pathways, which are developed through the use of by flow of positrons. The result is a holographic intelligence pattern within the brain.
Yes, but AIs do still utilize positronic brains. It is the highest that we can get at the moment.
Well, because Daryen is the only planet in the sector, as far as I know, that has the capability of building true AI mainframes. So, I mean, it makes some level of sense that there's iridium flowing towards Daryen.
Are you sure the Villani and Soleimani captains are going towards Darien? If they're going back towards the Empire, that could point to what we were hired to investigate.
Well, they're going to be Imperials, because while we do have some Soleimani living in the Daryen Confederation, there aren't really any Villani living in the Federation. Like, other than just those, like a handful who've made it their home, but there's no large populations of Villani in the Daryen Confederation.
Isn't Calvir Villani?
Yes, he is.
Okay, well, maybe I'm wrong, but I thought we're looking for stuff, like a lot of stuff being taken out for cheap out of Lunion or going into Lunion.
Something along those lines. I'll ask again, Insight to GM. Is this the right course to pursue?
You've already asked that question. I would have
Dang
to.
It. Can I reiterate the question?
You know what? If you want to take a crack with 1d6 on 6, sure.
Okay. There.
Goes on to 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Interesting.
GM, can I pull up on my computer the trade classification for Lunion, now that someone's said Lunion?
Certainly. 1 moment, please.
Because I can tell you if it's going in or out by the classification.
It is high population, industrialized, and a subsector capital.
It's not coming out of Lunion. It's going
into Lunion.
Well, be aware that Lunion's also the name of the subsector. So, and the guy was asking from the Lunion subsector.
Oh.
Yeah, corruption in Lunium subsector.
Yeah, there's too many planets for me to look.
It is definitely something to investigate. Before the night ends, do you think you could get me a cargo manifest of one of those ships? As in, we need to find out where it's going.
I mean, unlikely. I
Couldn't you grease a couple of palms?
I have. I mean, do I know any, like, you said they were mentioning certain captains. Do I have names of certain captains?
No, but I can tell you that you'd be able to pick out, like, you'd be able to weed out Swordworlder and Daryen and Jordani captains. So you'd narrow it down. There's only so many captains that are in port that are cargo ships.
Fair enough.
Because ships would at least list their mission profiles and which one they're advertising. So if they're advertising express passenger, then yeah, they're not talking. If they are talking cargo, it's not enough for it to be relevant.
Well,
you'd be looking for cargo vessels and freighters.
Let me take a Hail Mary and roll my 2 luck to see if maybe I
Luck's for failing.
A particular name. Oh, luck's for failing. I don't get to. Okay.
Yeah, it's when you fail you can roll it to see if it blunts the difficulty.
But with this knowledge, with what y'all told me now, I could go back and ask brokers, any brokers, if they've traded in Iridium going to Lunion or coming from Lunion. Like, I can ask about Lunion Iridium specifically.
You could use curiosity as well, I'll note.
Oh, yeah.
You might just happen to know that.
I only have 5 of it, so that's 1.
Yep.
And what am I supposed to ask?
Click on the wrong things entirely. 1 second.
The intuition's 180.
Wonders about the natures of objects or the environment, which usually expresses itself as a question, why is that blank? The information about the nature, purpose, or function of the object of their curiosity.
So, what I ask, why would someone in the Lunian subsector want to deal in iridium?
You could ask that.
Then I'll ask that. Because I'm thinking that would narrow it down, right? Are we talking about AI stuff? Are we talking about psionic stuff?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a success.
Okay, so it drops down by 1. So now I have to get into the weeds a little bit about this one moment. Because you guys are connecting dots in interesting ways, which is good.
Calcian, what do you know about Stroudon? Apparently, there was it's in the Lunian sector, and there was. Dang it! I just had that pulled up. Okay, hold on for just a sec. Stroudon, which is Lunian 2327 Spinward Marches, there was a big accident in their VacGem mines with rumors that Susag mercs were involved, and theoretically could have also been Sword Worlders involved. I have no idea if that has any connection with Iridium or what, but it was
Can
another...
you find a strange world?
All worlds are kind of strange in their own ways.
An AS strange.
Oh, the asteroid. You're talking asteroid.
Asteroid.
Yeah.
Can you find asteroid? A world with a high asteroid density in the Lunian subsector.
Oh, there's a couple. There's Zyben, Gander.
That would be where your iridium sponge is coming from.
And actually, I'll point out that
it was the asteroid mines in Stroudon, in the asteroid belts that were where the accident, quote unquote, took place. So, I mean, in theory, you could have an accident at the Stroudon asteroids for VacGems and everything gets distracted while you do something hinky with the asteroids where you're pulling off Iridium. Stroudon is high population industrialized.
You're looking for something for Iridium Sponge to be a product. You're looking for something with asteroid in the classification.
So in the system, I will ask for. I'm gonna answer your curiosity question first. Then I have a roll about Stroudon and the mines because there is a weird logic here, but I need to connect dots. So normally, what most people would have when it comes to positronics, if you're mixing positronic brains and psionics don't mix because psionics generally, from curiosity, generally has no great connection with, or psionics talk to organics, not inorganics. They can't talk to positronic, fluidic, photonic brains. It just doesn't work. However, according to the theory that Calvier's thrown out there, that he's heard, it seems like someone's using a way to kind of help augment someone. So you could theoretically, in a cloaked psionic institution, use Iridium to help augment in a sort of positronic, somewhat almost like cybernetically, biologically enhancing someone's psionic ability. So it's something. The reason you would want to hide that is because in the Imperium, psionic research is very illegal. Whereas in other places like Daryen and the Sword Worlds and Jordani, it is not illegal. And iridium sponges are something you would get from asteroid systems, but it's the normal trade in is in positronic brains. So there's a very limited market in people who play with iridium sponges and iridium systems, unless they're using it as a byproduct for like hulls and stuff. So that's why you'd be shipping it out. The only reason you really want to ship it to out of the Imperium is if you were moving it to a high-tech place like the Daryen Confederation, who can make positronic computers and brains, or the secondary is it could be Calvier's theoretical use of it.
So we know that the source is in the Lunian subsector. We don't know the planet or the system it's from, though.
So now I'm going to ask for education plus, I think, a good skill. I call it 3 because we're getting a bit deeper in. Oh no, I'll call it 2. 2 dice, education plus chemistry, planetology, or robotics.
Does this have to do with the value of the material at all?
It's how it's done and how it's worked with, how iridium is worked.
Well, I got Jack of all trades 3, but I only have education 5, so I'm only doing an 8 here. Because I don't have any of those other things.
What are the other things?
That is chemistry, planetology, robotics.
Striking out.
But
electronics is another one in the trades.
But what's your oh, you get halved training.
Right. So I'm rolling the same thing as you, except I'm only rolling a 7 with the Jack of all trades at 2.
Calvier, you have like a 12 education, don't you?
Yeah, education of 12, but considering I don't have any of the skills listed, it's going to be harder.
But it'll be 3d6 rolling under 12. I'm doing 2d6 rolling under 8.
I could definitely give it a try. You want me to?
You can either do it, or I'm about to look up the actual math on whether my chance is better than yours. Because
I got it.
Oh, that was almost a exceptional success. That would have been funny. All right. So, when you mine iridium out of an asteroid system, it's in its raw. To spin it into a sponge, you need an industrial world to like. You can get it from an asteroid place and they'll make it there. But if you want the highest quality possible, you'd want to get it to a mining refinery. So, like in the case of the map here, you're having stuff being moved from like Gandir or Zalban to Stroden, or any other industrial world, but Stroden's like the big. You can see it's in the big text here. That means it's one of the large, high population places. They were processed here in one of their not the main world, but one of the other worlds in the system, and that's where the mining accident happened. That's what connects the iridium dots to here. Because if you wanted to grab it just from Gandir or Zalban or any other asteroid-based system, you would get it in raw form and be able to sell it off like normal. But if you wanted the top shelf, highly refined, perfectly made stuff, you'd want to go to Stroden and get it from there. Or in the only other place you would be able to get it is in the Lunian system itself, but that's not where the thing that incident happened in Stroden.
I'd like to take a moment to enjoy yet another validation of my note-taking RPG. Validation is good. It's good.
So we know that to resolve this problem, we would need to get to Stroden to investigate.
Well, I mean, not. It depends on what the problem actually is. I mean, like, it could be that. I mean, there was an accident at the vacuum mines. So, I mean, without knowing what really happened at Stroudon, it's hard to know if it's an ongoing problem or if it was like, this accident was used to cover a major theft of refined iridium.
What
So,
are we getting paid to accomplish?
200,000.
Uncover.
Oh, sorry. We're getting paid to uncover corruption in the
In the Loudon sector.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other thing about vac gems, sorry, this is the addendum as well. Vac gems are something you can get on any vacuum world, so that can be basically find any planet that's a vacuum, put a refinery there, and you can put a station in orbit, and you can make vac gems. So the vac gems is part of the process of iridium sponge refining. That's why that's relevant for Stroudon. Because vac gems are used for a variety of things, but for the line you're on, that lines up with the iridium sponge trade.
Can I ask? We get career knowledge equal to our careers, right? That we've had.
Yeah, something like terms. It's equal to your terms minus however many years you haven't been doing it.
Right. Yeah.
I have.
How many terms you've been not doing it, rather?
Can I think about how I would make money off of this as a rogue? Can I roll rogue career knowledge to think of, like, if I suddenly came into possession of vac gems or iridium in Lunian, what I would do with it?
Intelligence plus that career knowledge at 3 dice.
All right. I don't think I have anything modifying the roll, so it's just 3d6 under 13. That's a success.
All right. Now I look into my notes, because now you're digging pretty deep.
If nothing else, we may not solve this dude's problem, but we may figure out how to make us some money off of some corruption.
So, if you were going to be moving, the amounts that you would need to satisfy... Because basically, to make this happen in a scale that's worth your time and endangering yourself... Because you're doing a high crime in the Imperium if you're connected with psionic research, even if it's outside the system. You, as an Imperial official, being connected to it somehow would be a huge problem. Not you, but like this theoretical you.
Yeah.
Or if you're operating in the Third Imperium somewhere. So, if you're a psionicist and you work in that field, you don't travel to the Imperium if you don't want to have long conversations with the police.
And I assume even if they knew, if they could prove what your end goal with it was, it doesn't matter that what you're transporting is legal, right?
Yeah.
You're going to use it for an illegal thing, so you, the transporter, are also getting thrown in jail.
Yeah, you're now transported. It now turns into smuggled goods at that point, and it results in seizing, fines, possible prison time, or execution, depending on how strict the judge is at the time. But anyway, to make this work, you need an imperial noble, and you need who can bribe a naval official. That way, it can disappear into the system, and then you get it onto a sufficient large ship, and you can move large quantities of this to your... if you're trying to play the positronic game, and you're just trying to avoid taxes and stuff like that, and try to get more value for your buck, you would move it to the Daryen Confederation, which is risky, because the Daryen Confederation does cooperate with the Imperials. They're allies. But if you want to make it big money, you would sell it off to psionic researchers in the Sword Worlds or the Jordanic Consulate. And then you can make... Suddenly your sponge, your iridium sponge suddenly skyrockets if it's in connection to Calvier's theory.
Can you show us the map again?
Certainly.
So, with the knowledge I have about the kind of captains who are transporting the stuff, can I look through the dock records and the comings and the goings, ship arrivals and leaving schedules, and figure out which direction these captains seem to be traveling, if they're most of them traveling in a certain direction?
Intelligence, 2 dice, because you're in the lounge. It's easy to look this stuff up there. You have a skill to suggest? I'm listening. I'm floating on the skill right now.
Okay, so
It'd probably be steward.
yeah,
because
steward or broker would be
cargo-
my thing, because you're looking to move how things are moving. So yeah.
Well, I think broker would be moving the goods, but you're looking at moving of ships, right?
Yeah, but at the same time, if you're looking to move goods as a broker, you're going to be, sussing out which ships are going where.
Also, I'll note steward would be moving people, not things.
Yeah.
Broker's moving.
I was only using it in the cargo master capacity.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Loading and unloading.
I follow you there.
So, yeah, those were going to be my 2, broker, and then steward. I don't think.
I'll take broker. That makes sense to me.
Okay, so that's going to be a 12 on 2. Just.
You narrow it down to there is one captain in particular that seems to be moving. Who's moving from Narsil to Spoom, and then the flight manifest shows that they're going ba.
Okay.
And then
You're going-
ba.
They're jumping to the
Okay,
Jordani consulate.
I may know exactly where they're heading. Okay.
Wait, no, I might have got the course wrong. I did get
in the
course wrong.
Quirion subsector, which is kind of the very tipmost of the Jordani consulate, coming down from up here.
No, sorry, I'm giving the proper course. I had it wrong.
Okay.
So they're getting up to Winston that way. And then they're going up to Delcab in the Quirion subsector.
Okay, so Delcab, where's my traveler map?
Delcab is not claimed by a major polity, so it's
right.
smuggling.
So, but also the SUSAG very quietly purchased a psionics academy that had been decommissioned in Quirion system, which if you were going to get to Quirion, you need to go to Decab first. Supposedly established an import-export trading house that is in negotiations with Jordani nobility to establish a new trade route, blah, blah, blah. But some imperial scholars who have been visiting Quirion have heard rumors that a disgraced noble scions, formerly of the Church of Megatil, have found new well-paying jobs at this import-export trading house. Any information revealing illegal or, quote, deviant thought and action activity will likely be worth money to Jordani law enforcement. So I'm wondering if SUSAG SUSAG and some of its allies are working on boosting psionic ability at this old psionics academy with the help of former disgraced scions, formerly of the Church of Megatil.
On that particular thing, I'm going to call for a short break as I stretch our legs and stuff, especially for me. So we'll be back in a few minutes.
Okey-doke.
And I come back. We unmute. I have returned. Not everyone might not have already.
Yep, I'm here.
You're there.
Same.
Just Tar been holding us back again now. Madly calculating what you guys are doing.
Did you get my reply to the STA thing that you sent me? Because
I believe I did. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. Wanted to make sure I did.
Any idea on what you want the probes to be able to do? Because they can't make use of every sensor. They only get to do one kind of sensing.
What are some examples?
Detecting sound, a radar but that detects like subterranean things, something that tells you how dense things are, something that detects life, something that detects mass, something that detects radiation, something that detects electromagnetic systems.
I was more interested like if we fired it into a planet, I want to know the atmospheric composition and things like that. You know, whether it's breathable, whether it's got something in there that it shouldn't have, etc., etc. You know.
I think that's a sniffer.
Also, we have Tarbin.
Consider a sniffer.
I don't think it's a sniffer. I thought sniffer was, well, it might be.
For atmospheric stuff, I'd have to look at it. But that's what I needed to know, because you actually have to attach the probes to the sensors, and so if I would need to know what kind of probes we had.
Consider that.
But you have certain revelations that you're starting to piece together some things. I believe the last thing we talked about was the route of that particular captain that you were able to narrow it down to. Like, there's someone who has a very suspicious route that kind of stands out to you, who's moving iridium.
Yeah.
Or will likely move iridium. Like, among the people, you narrowed it down and then narrowed it down further. Like, who's going somewhere suspicious? Like, this one's that course stands out to you when you look it up.
Question: do you think the two of you could potentially, I don't know, speak to one of his crew, plant a bug on them, so we know for sure what's going on?
First, we would need to know if he was here.
Well, I mean, the captain's in port.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in port. I didn't know if you were also including historic data that he wasn't here at the moment. Okay, so he's here.
Well,
Captain is in port. Yeah, if you could find one of his crewmates, plant a bug on them, maybe track them, see where they go.
So possible. One thing. So we were told that he would need an Imperial Knight at least, right? An Imperial Noble. Not him specifically, but he has to get the goods from the Imperial Navy. The Imperial Navy needs a noble to cover for them. That's
the part that we're supposed to find out, I'm guessing. That's the corruption.
We know there's an Imperial Noble operating in Swordworld subsector. Don't we know that?
Caviar knows of Sir Wendell von Elfer.
There's him, yeah, but he sent us on the job.
Okay.
I don't imagine he'd immediately, he'd tell us to go after him. That would be a bit silly, right? Surely not.
So I think lurking really big behind all of this, we're going to find Susag.
Naturally, but I'd like to present at least some evidence to the nobles so we can get our pay.
Right,
Which is why I'm suggesting that If not on a crew member, then the captain himself. If we manage to plant the bug on him, so we can like listen in on his conversations, he'll meet with the noble that's supposed
Well, but
to, get him through everything.
the problem is, I mean, we're outside. He would need the noble to transship the refined uridium from Imperial space into outside of Imperial space. We're already outside of Imperial space. And as far as bugging for that matters, that would only work so long as he's in the same system that we're in. Once he jumps, it kind of becomes...
It's even less than that. A radio transmitter...
Yeah, fair.
At greater than world range 6 is not something he's going to... That's going to be like a huge box sitting in his cargo bay with antennas.
Can we just plant a simple tracker on his ship then to see where he goes if he truly sticks to the
But a tracker would require you to receive signals and stuff, and you can't receive signals of any relevance at light years.
Yeah, once he leaves this system, the only way to keep signaling signals would be to follow where he goes, in which case you wouldn't really need a tracker.
Can we bribe one of his crewmates to periodically send us updates?
That might be more reasonable.
Yeah.
But it would take weeks and weeks for the updates to get to us.
Or a bunch of money because he'd be having to pay for their transmission on X-boats.
Yeah. I think basically we try to corner the captain and get a confession from him, right?
We could get some. I could try and fabricate some in the laboratory here on Narsil. I could try and fabricate some truth-telling drugs, which we can inject into him if you hold him down long enough.
I think the holding him down will get the message across.
Yes, but just in case he doesn't want to talk, he'd rather prefer to be beaten.
But we lose this captain as a lead once we leave the system. So whatever we do, right? We don't have long to get information from him.
Damn,
right.
Okay.
If he leaves the system,
Calcium,
we have to track other leads.
I think we know what to do. Let's depart.
Well, we're also making an assumption that this is the guy who actually dealt with the noble.
He might not, but
I mean, if I was a noble who was pulling this kind of stunt, how many cutouts would I put between me and the guy actually shipping the shit?
But we don't need to prove anything before an imperial judge, right? We need to get the knight enough so that he can prove it in a court, right? If we can tell him that we found the traitor and this traitor, right, had some link to shipping iridium from the Empire, right? If this guy is meeting the naval warship, right, to transfer the cargo, we don't have to get the noble dead to rights. We have enough evidence that a noble is involved, and then we can follow other leads to figure out who that noble is.
Yeah, because it would take more than just a confession from the captain or someone else to pin something on a noble, because at some point it's all just hearsay. Like, we need hard evidence, which I doubt we're going to get from this guy.
I don't think we are,
wouldn't hurt to ask him.
If we can get an admission from him that he has met an imperial warship, right? That's a huge boost.
Did I miss something? Where does the imperial warship come in?
Because Corbinian was saying the only way to reasonably and profitably get this stuff out of the Empire when transporting it would be illegal would be an imperial noble, right, giving writs of passage or something, or orders to a naval officer to transport it by ship, right? Because the warships aren't going to be
hold on.
customs.
I thought that was the imperial noble bribing the customs people to let it out. Corbin, can you clarify that?
To clarify, the noble would need a naval officer to, because you wouldn't want to move it through normal trade channels and brokerage, because then it would leave a clear trail that would connect back to the noble. But if you get it through a naval officer with orders, then that naval officer can move it around within the naval bureaucracy, and then once it get it out of the imperial worlds, at that point now it's on a free. It's a legal good that's disconnected from the the first point.
Okay, and would he have to do that transporting, moving around the naval bureaucracy on naval ships, maybe not warships, but naval supply ships, or could he give those orders to a free trader and the free trader just act on naval orders?
He would need either to use a naval vessel of some kind or use a naval facility to transport it. Like use the naval base as the exchange point rather than the starport.
So at some point, a civilian took this cargo from a uniformed officer, either on a station or an imperial tugboat or something, or imperial trader.
Right.
So,
but not necessarily within the Imperium,
and not necessarily
the border worlds.
You're right, and not necessarily this guy either. But this guy's the guy we have, and it might be him. I definitely don't suggest we do anything untoward, because this guy's not likely to be that great of a source of information, right? I don't suggest beating it out of him or anything. I suggest we talk to him and we try to
question. GM, is trying to question this captain the right choice?
Insight roll.
I flubbed it.
I can't possibly answer that at the moment.
Oh god! How does this happen?
Because it keeps going lower every time you use it.
Yeah.
It was a 1 in 6 chance. 1 in 6.
What if we have a message sent to his ship that's like something along the something of the nature that there's a new procedure that has to be followed because people along the route have been discovered, so a naval officer will meet with you or something.
You want to try and
do some spycraft to trick him into meeting us.
Okay, we can try and bury him in red tape, or how about we just find him at the local pub and have a chat with him?
We can do that. If we could set it up to where when we meet him, he already knows we're on to him.
Right.
So he might be willing to talk to not get offed.
We don't exactly look like enforcers of a sort, I think.
You're all very high. I think you're all high social standing.
Well, and the other thing to consider is this guy might not be doing anything illegal.
You're right.
Yeah. Like we can just go talk to him, see what he has to say.
Because we could present ourselves maybe as some people interested in purchasing an amount of iridium, and we've heard that he's transshipping that. So either maybe he has some to sell, or can maybe connect us with someone who we might be able to buy from. Because honestly, if it's legally taken out, quote unquote legally, through naval orders of the Imperium, then it was probably legally put on his boat and he's transporting it legally.
And if he looks shifty, if anything looks shifty, we'll press him for information.
It depends. Yeah, it depends on if the naval ship, if the cargo was transported inside the borders of the Imperium, or if the cargo was transferred to him inside the Sword Worlds or the Border Worlds.
I'd almost guarantee it'd be the Border Worlds because Susag is deep in this.
And that would be the legal way. That wouldn't put him in any legal trouble. But if the naval officer wanted to put him in legal peril to force his loyalty, then they might force him to take it in Imperial space.
So let's see if we can find this guy and have a chat.
Give me an intelligence roll of 2 dice. No particular skill I have in mind, but if you have one that you think will help you find somebody in port,
Streetwise.
I'll take Streetwise.
if we know where to look. Tarbin, I think that's your jive.
Actually, I think Calzian's better than I am with Streetwise. Well, no,
That would be
you
less
get
than
the
14 for
+1.
me.
It's a 13 for me.
So yeah, I can do it.
Go ahead.
There's 2 or 3d6.
2.
So yeah, this is only fail on double sixes.
I clicked the wrong thing. Away I go. Won't mess with the stream, but messes with me being able to see stuff. I'll watch it on the stream. Who needs delays? Yeah, you got it. This person is actually the captain of that vessel. Is at their far trader. They're at the dock at their gangplank.
Let's go up and offer him a drink. Who knows? Maybe he'll take.
We should, but we have to be careful because coming up to his ship and asking his business in Iridium is likely for him to think we're asking to buy it illegally.
Wouldn't come up
Because
to
we're
him
not
and
going
ask
through
him
proper
about.
channels.
We wouldn't come up to the gangplank and say, "Hey, you're the one that's dealing in iridium, right?" No, like.
I
hey,
thought that's what
you-
we were doing.
No,
Well,
no,
okay,
it's
but-
like, hey, you there?
but-
Do you want to have a
Yeah,
drink?
I
It's like-
don't think that's true because I already overheard a guy who was representing somebody looking to buy iridium, asking people in around the docks if they knew any ships carrying it. So I don't think it's, and Jim, you can correct me if I'm wrong, if it's terribly unusual for people to find out, oh, so and so has a cargo of this. Maybe I can buy a little bit from him, or make some connections or something. I mean,
You're
am I
talking
wrong
about acting
there,
as a
GM?
broker.
Am I right in thinking that, GM?
What was the question again? Sorry.
So, like, if I'm saying I don't think it's terribly unusual in a starport for, brokers or people, representing buyers wanting to buy, like iridium, because I saw a guy asking around about.
Yeah, because
who's
iridium
shipping
sponge
it.
is a legal good normally. It's just,
Yeah.
There's only certain people who bother buying and selling it.
Right. So, but it wouldn't be unusual for like a broker to approach a captain while he's docked and say, "Hey, I understand you're carrying a cargo of iridium. Is any of that for Are you selling it, or we buy from you, or do you have a source?" And all
Yeah,
that?
oh yeah. Some ships just do their business straight off the gameplay. They may be on their trade floor, but they may be selling off of counters off their dock or
Right.
something like that.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
remembered there was something about like it's sketchy to buy straight off the gangplank or something.
It's unusual to do it when you have a proper facility, like a starport that has a broker floor. You would just take it to the broker floor, but it is perfectly acceptable in trade among traders that if you can land in any open field, drop the gangplank down and go, what you buying, what you selling. Like it's just weird. It's odd to do that when you're at a proper starport, but you can do it.
Is it the right course of action to approach this man in this fashion about this?
Go for it.
You'll have to give me a second. My roll 26. If someone else wants to roll d6, let me know the result.
Sure.
I'll wait for you. Good.
Because you gotta roll a 3 or less.
6.
No, I gotta roll a 4 or less.
6 doesn't get it.
Yarr!
Now you gotta roll a 3 or less.
Hey.
So yeah, let's go meet him.
You're gonna act as the broker guy,
I can.
Calcian.
Yeah,
I
I
think
can.
probably you have the best chance of coming off as a broker.
We're gonna stand in the back just so you appear to be a normal person, because a professor and a bear, good company.
Yeah, I always bring my professor and my bear to my broker meetings.
Of course, you don't. I mean, God.
No, you're not in combat.
I could be.
Wrong character. Remember, you got rid of that one.
Standing as you approach it, you see there a variety of well-to-do folk who are having a nice amiable little chat with glasses in hand, and there's like a collection of fine liquors on a nearby table. That does not look like a trader dock. It looks like various people of high standing having a salon drink and smoke next to a game plank. It's a weird juxtaposition.
This is exactly my kind of place.
Yep.
And you notice that the woman, the captain that everyone's referring to, it is obvious who they're talking to. The Right Honorable Hero Captain is the person they're talking to, who seems to be a Daryen, but is dressed in Sword Worlder colors.
What's their name? Because doesn't Tarbin know?
You would know it. One moment.
I suddenly don't want to find out if this person is doing any corruption. Can we just make them as a friend?
I mean, you could.
They might be a nice friend to have. Look at all the wine and the nice clothes. I mean, the captain definitely, I'm getting the feeling that they might pay us 200,000 credits not to say anything.
That is the Hero Captain Nilden Nadal.
Can we get that in a chat?
No, you can't. I have to copy and paste it. It's really hard to do.
Can't promise I'll ever remember it.
That's what you have pen and paper for. Freaking casual. There you go.
Yeah, but how do I spell Nellen Dadal?
Yeah, because I didn't spell it anything like that.
There's a whole lot less hyphens than I thought there would be.
There's a whole lot more letters than I thought there would be.
Well, it's Daryen, right? So it kind of...
And what's this hero captain business?
Education plus anything to do with Sword World or bureaucracy and hierarchy.
How many D's?
2 normally, so probably 3 if you don't have if you don't have a relevant skill.
I don't even know
Let
what
me
that
try and make that
skill
one.
would
Yeah.
be.
I just flub it. Dang it. Off by 1.
That's amazing.
Hang on. There may be something I can pull here from my ass. Hang on. Philosophy?
You could use that.
Then that will be a success. I have a 4 in that.
See, the reason why philosophy triggers, you think about Hero Captain, and you hear a couple of people say it to her in Senegal. They use the proper Senegal word for it. Hero Captain is not just it is, her name is listed as one of the great heroes of the Confederation.
Oh.
She is, if she wanted to claim a world as a governor, she could get it. Because she's considered that esteemed in the Sword Worlds.
Okay,
that's why philosophically she's also considered blessed by the Aesir. Hence the title Hero Captain.
I have to ask again. Would a person with this sort of title, this sort of honorific, engage in such lowly business of corruption in the Imperium? Are we on the right path?
That sounds like curiosity to me.
No.
Are we on the right path? Insight. I could give you that, yeah.
Yes!
Such a hero captain, if it was to the benefit and esteem and enrichment of the Sword Worlds, would definitely do whatever it takes, no matter how high or low, for hero captains are spotless in anything they do. It's the philosophical argument. So she totally could be involved. It just has to be of profit to the Sword Worlds.
Gentlemen, we appear to be dealing with a person of very high standing in the Confederation. Mind yourselves and your behavior.
To give you an idea of where she sits on the social standing scale, what's the letter again? Hold on.
Give me a number, man.
It's F, basically.
Ooh,
A
Ooh.
duke.
that's a 14, I think, right?
She has a higher social standing than the person who governed Beater.
Well,
That's like
is-
I don't
That's
know
like a
who.
16. No, wait, 10. That's 15.
It's a 15. Yeah. She has a high enough social standing to be the monarch of the Sword World.
I don't think we have the minerals to ask her out for a drink, I'm afraid.
I do. I'm a knighted Daryen.
Yes,
Daryen-
but look at it this way. This is Julius Caesar. We're the plebeians.
I'm
well,
not. You are.
quite.
I'm not.
I mean, I've got a social standing of B, so I'm,
I'm at a healthy 12 as well, so that's a B as well.
We're
Actually,
all
no, I'm an
Bs.
11.
No,
I'm an
you're a
11.
C.
No, I'm an 11. Yeah, I'm a C. Sorry. Ugh.
No, B. You are B if you're 11. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We can handle this. I will approach her and say,
Everyone looks at you with a challenging. There's a challenging glance at first when you approach, and then they look at you and they get people get a quick gauge of what social standing you're at. And since you have a letter social standing, they kind of just, they nod and look at you, and you notice a quick glance around, you're seeing a few A's and B's and C's around you. Like these are no one with a number social standing, no common folk are talking to this person.
I'm the one that gets to ask, should I do this, right?
Curiosity is why is that?
Why am I doing this?
Okay, because I'm trying to decide if it's more appropriate to talk in Samagal or Tizold to her. I assume Samagal, but I guess I'll just have to choose, right?
You could ask her curiosity what she prefers. You might happen to know that. What a hero captain would prefer to use if that's understanding or puzzling out something.
Well, then this would be under 4.
A single
Or
die.
4 or under. Nope.
You're not sure.
I'm gonna take Samagal because she's like, she is Daryen, but she has participated in Daryen society, but she has earned her position in Sword World society, so I assume she's kind of adopted Sword Worlders. So I will speak in Samagal and say, how fortunate. I was hoping I would get to run into you, Hero Captain, before you left. And I'll give a bow, because she definitely does outrank me.
Give me social standing 2 dice.
Yep.
Your Senegal is very good. Who are you, armed gentleman?
This is the part where I start a fight.
No. Remember, you got rid of that character because
No,
we weren't doing
it's not
that.
me that's going to start the fight. It's her that's about to shoot me.
Oh, well.
We're at Starport. Nobody's shooting anybody, please.
Yeah, you didn't defraud her chosen government of several million credits, did you? I will say...
Technically...
I'll say, Sir Calcian Langhoff, Daryen Knight.
A few people, some of the local, like some of the traveling nobles and gentlefolk don't really understand the gravity of what you just did. Almost all the sword worlders get ready to draw their weapons, and she just raises her hand, and they all stop. Right then and there, if she hadn't done that, you were going to die, or at least run for it, because all of them were going to murder you where you were standing.
Yeah, I understood the gravity of that after we had already gotten this started.
It's like going up to a cardinal in Rome and go, "Hail Satan! I helped summon a demon." Like, are you kidding me? Did you just do that?
Okay, the Swiss Guard wouldn't behead you for that particularly, but you would get a few looks.
Yeah. That's what they want you to think. No.
People have done stranger things in the Vatican. Please admit it.
Sir Calcian, of what nobility do you claim?
I had said that. I said I was a Daryen Knight.
She says that as if she didn't hear you the first time.
Oh. I have station and title and land in the Daryen Confederacy.
In the spirit of this starport, and to keep the peace of the stars, I will refrain from executing sword world justice for the crimes you've committed against the brave defenders of the flame. And in this time of peace, I will allow you to continue speaking with me. What is it you want, Knight?
Harbin, should we have spoken with her instead?
Yeah,
I will say, my apologies. I have buried the sword for the things that I did to win the war. I thought you had too. If you have not, I will excuse myself. Basically, I'm trying to say that I did this for my country in the war. If we haven't buried the sword, then I will leave.
You can attempt a personal thing. 1 second.
I'm sorry. I had already started role-playing what I was going to say to her when I realized how terrible it was that we chose me to speak.
I mean, you said you're going up. We didn't choose you. God damn it.
But I didn't understand what Hero Captain meant when I said that.
Well, you knew when I goddamn asked about it.
This is probably persuade. Persuade, maybe appeal to.
Persuade.
Does profuse sweating give you any bonuses?
I would take...
Or force of will, maybe, because I'm not backing down.
You could try that strategy.
That's not. I don't mean like you can shoot me.
For me, it's like, well, that is an option.
I'm not saying. Like,
It depends how nice you're trying to put it, I guess. Appeals to is a lot more...
Force of will. By force of will was, right, your brashness does not push me away. Not like I realize you would have shot me and I don't care, right? It's not. It's like her.
Yeah, you're not angry. You're
towards
just.
Rory.
Yeah, you're not being angry. You're just being. You're trying to say I'm strong enough to withstand your insults, sort of thing.
Yes.
You could do force of will, yeah.
And
What tactic?
morality or logic, I would think. Maybe morality. Or because she's chosen to act as a sword wielder, like culture, because, right, the sword's been buried, the war is over. Now, if you kill me now, it's murder. If you had done it 6 months ago or a year ago, it would have been just and right because we were at war. Because the conceit of this conversation is that I'm trying to compare what I did to fighting in a war, right? I'm not talking to her like, forgive me for my crime. I'm saying forgive me for the things I did during the war.
I would take morality here.
Okay.
Because she kind of drove the conversation in that direction as well. Of this, there's a certain unspoken rule among spacers. Like if we're in Starport and we're talking, we probably shouldn't be. We should try to be civil, even if we don't like each other. We should try.
So this is 3D under 8 for laws. I think it's inferiority, right?
Yeah.
Um,
But you're not begging, flattering, or polite, so you'd get 0 for it.
yeah.
But the law of inferiority applies because she way outclassed you. Because with that big a social gap, if she killed you here, the Starport Authority might just fine her and let her go. Because of that, there's that big a gap. The two governments might have a different conversation, but the Starport Authority is like, yeah, we're not getting into this. Go away.
Brazen.
I'll let you be brazen, yeah.
So that's 3d6 under 11. And a mod of... See, I would almost ask for a mod of bluff, right? Because I don't have the... I have the firepower to make it hurt to attack me. I don't have the firepower to outright win this situation. If she decides, oh, I'll just kill him instead. But I don't think I want to do that because it could give me a -5.
Alternatively, you can try to loop in a skill if it makes sense to help. If you think it will help the situation. I can't think of one that jumps at me that would help you here that isn't covered by something else. With it, but I'm willing to listen.
My only arguments would be either being able to speak Samagal or leader. Because I am speaking for the party.
I will let you benefit from leaders, because you're acting as, you're not just rank and file. You're like, no, I'm a leader of people in my own right, and she'll respect that. The Senegal actually helped you earlier when you were trying to get her to just talk to you at all, and that reduced it from a 3d6 down to a 2d6. Like, oh, well, you're appropriate rank, that you're speaking my language, so I'm going to be a lot more easygoing about seeing you.
So is that a mod of 1 because I have leader, or is that 3 my
your leader skill will add into it?
Okay. So we were at 11, now we're at 14, 3d6 under 14. Yep. We live for the next roll at least.
I have no desire at present, and I am not aware that the Sword World Confederation at present has any bellicose intention against the nobility or the confederacy of the Daryen. Thus, I think we can speak, so long as we mind each other's position.
I would not dare to impugn the record of the Sword Worlds. Regardless of the outcome, the late conflict was honorably acquitted. And I don't wish to dwell on the matter. I had hoped...
Besides, I'll say this to you, if it's any comfort in this regard. If you were... The fact that you are Daryen is giving me some pause and comfort that you chose to be part of a noble belligerent in the war, rather than the thieves and miscreants of the Imperium.
Carbon will snort at that.
Not only did I choose them, they chose me. And
Oh,
doubly, I was born in Imperial space, so you could say my Imperial loyalties are well cast off.
It is wise for you to embrace Daryen civility.
Anyways, I would not want to dwell on the war. Neither of us, I imagine, have much to consult the other with on that topic. I had much greater hopes to talk of events and of trade lanes and of polite society.
To what end, sir?
This is the point where I have exceeded my role-playing ability.
Perhaps it's time for us to step in.
Well, I mean, this is the point where I'd like to ask the information and stuff and carouse, rather than.
Well, you basically she's trying to see if you're buying or selling off of her right now, like you're trying to do a deal, or you're trying to get her to discuss something privately. That's kind of I'll give that as the benefit of your role, that she's hinting to you through politeness. Are we doing a deal here on the docks, like a regular dock deal, or do you want to talk somewhere?
No, I guess I'll convey my intentions. I would like to be here to drink wine and talk politely and just carouse. But when she has time, I do have interests that I think she's involved in that I would like to talk with her about with trading. But it's not a specific trade for now.
She will kind of say, "Excuse me, everyone. Myself and the sir may have some intricate business arrangements to hammer out, but please carry on with the wine sampling." And she gestures to someone to hand a glass of wine into your hand, and she just kind of nods, and everyone just kind of nods, and you get from that role of she's giving you the Senegal bread and salt, as it were. She's not willing to kill you while you're here as a guest.
Okay.
So there's also a hint to everyone else: please don't kill him. If I was gonna do it, I would have done it already. So he's drinking my wine. Calm down, everyone.
Tarbin will take a sniff. Is it decent wine?
It is a very complex and interesting wine.
But is it good wine? I mean, you can be complex and interesting and still be crappy.
This is true. I would say. Okay.
I mean, she's put a lot into her appearance to be drinking terrible wine.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily follow.
It's not the best wine you've ever smelled, but it's very good. It's very good wine with some very clever approaches to how they were making it. Like, it smells like one thing, and then you smell it again, like, oh, it's doing that. Okay, that smells pretty good. You've smelled better, but you smelled massively worse than that. It's very good wine. You'd be paying a fair amount for it.
Can I identify the make and vintage?
You could, yeah. With your smell.
Can you identify any substances that should not be there?
Well, I mean,
Was it? I was right. This seems to take from, of all things, certain Kukri traditions of winemaking, which is an insectoid species on the other side of the Imperium.
If nothing else, it was really expensive to get here.
And the brand attached to it is, of all people, the Makid Mega Corporation. They seem to be doing something in... they're a megacorp in the Imperium that doesn't normally deal with wines all that much, but this must be one of their new... It's one of their new experiments in trying to pierce into that market and try new things to stand out from everyone else. So, short in supply and high in novelty, if nothing else. It wouldn't. You doubt it'll win any huge awards or anything at any great sommelier meeting or anything, but you know, it'll make something.
Well, Tarbin will say, I'm a kid Kukri, whatever year. Interesting.
It's not poisoned, is it?
and unexpected to find this far out.
Some people nod appreciatively of your evaluation. They're like, oh, like a lot of people are surprised that, oh, hey, someone knows. Cool. Some people look at you like, what? And they look at the drink like, huh, okay. I didn't know that's what I was drinking. I was just drinking because it was fun to drink.
Just kind of fitting in. Yes, he's a knight, but I'm a wine snob, so move over.
Someone offers you a glass because they see you're there and like, oh, hey, would you like to try some?
Yeah, sure, I'll have a taste.
Give me endurance, 2 dice.
I'm not swinging it down, for God's sakes.
It's only 1 then. Which I think you make. Oh, wait, it's higher because you're a freaking bear. So 1 turns into 2 anyway, so. Because all your dice increase.
Yeah. But well below.
Yeah, it's a. It's surprise for all the fruity smells that you're smelling. It is surprisingly dry, and you're glad you didn't swig that back. That would have kicked you a bit.
One can instantly see the vast differences between the Humanitine and Cree palate. It's quite safe, Professor, but also as dry as some desert planets.
Oh, you're that professor that helped with the plague, yes?
Yes, the very same.
Oh,
Nice to
you.
see you.
Nice to see you. You must have a glass, surely. You cannot be left out of this.
Give it
His
here.
name's not Shirley.
Yeah, give it here.
Endurance with 1 die, because you're sipping, not swinging it.
I have an endurance 14. Can I say I succeed?
Yeah, you can't get double 6s, so you sip at it and
I don't sip it. I chugged it.
Oh, you swing it back? Oh well,
Yeah, I'll swing it back. I'll take a roll.
2d6, yeah, as you swig the whole thing down in one go.
Swig.
And shunk, you're like, whoa, that it develops. You taste something a little savory at the aftertaste. Kind of but not like in a weird. It's savory, but not in a very sickly, meaty way. It's hard to describe. More chitinous. Yeah.
I'll turn to the guy and say, explosive.
Isn't it? And you notice that the hero captain is, assuming this Calcian isn't opposing it, she's leading him into the ship.
Oh, no. I am very interested in going in the ship.
Okay. Are you two just hobnobbing out on the gangplank?
Sure, while we're out here hobnobbing, I'll ask some of the crew, in passing conversation. So, how you guys doing? What is it that you're transporting anyway? What are you hauling?
Oh, a variety of quality goods that we've been moving from the Lunian subsector, as well as some of the finest Sword World subsector goods. Some nice books, actually. We think you might be interested if you wanted to buy some here today.
Linian subsector, no kidding. I used to teach class on one of the planets there. Where are you coming from?
Oh, we come from a variety of worlds on our trip. We came through, what was it there? Oh, it was Linian to Ionic to Abdassi. Then we went down to Tenerife for a bit, holidayed. Went over to Iron, Iron. It is a most unpleasant planet, but it is very invigorating to get your constitutional in on a planet like that. Very challenging. Then we went by Sting, got some good things there. We were going to go straight to Saknoth, but we did stop by Bader first. And then we went to, where was it? We went to Excalibur.
And then you got stuck here.
Andril, then here, yeah. Lucky for us, you carried it before we got here. Ah, ha, 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 ha.
Oh, hardy, hard. And we'll keep carousing.
Any cookbooks?
Oh, yes, definitely.
I wouldn't mind browsing through some of those. And yeah, just trying to, through general conversation, learn what we can.
Anything particularly willing to learn? They seem quite happy to tell you stuff.
Hmm.
Well,
Okay, we know they came through the Imperium. These guys are mostly sword worlders, correct?
Sword worlders for the most part, yep.
Yeah, so I'll kind of talk them around to see if I can see if, they were picking up any particular cargoes from Imperial Navy bases, because, you're kind of unusual, is there you run into any problems being sword worlders and trading in the Imperium, yada, yada, yada.
People try to answer you the best they can. They say, "Well, we don't have any great, as you can imagine, we don't get a lot of government contracts with the Imperium. They're still, they've taken enough from us after all. But we would do business with them if they ever did business with us. We've mainly been trading with private dealers and at the gangplank, that sort of thing. The business tends to come to us and the hero captain.
Fair enough. I don't, it would be I wouldn't expect you doing too much business with the Imperial Navy. Ha 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 ha.
Could you imagine? Oh, we could sell weapons. Oh yes, the Imperium funding the great weapon effort. And people have a laugh.
Okay. Yeah, just trying to hang out.
So the hero captain brings Sir Calcian into one of the luxurious lounges aboard her Far Traveler. She has a seat and kind of lounges back a bit and has a nice stretch and puts her feet up and looks up at you.
Other than polite conversation, I did have several areas of interest. The first being, I'm interested in the iridium market, the Imperial iridium market.
Oh? I suppose you are with the Daryen. The Confederacy can always use a bit of iridium sponge. Makes sense.
Daryen itself would buy up the galactic supply if it could.
Yes. They are quite fascinated with their toys, aren't they?
Their toys have now become fascinated with them.
Well, one day the Imperium will learn that the AI need to be respected more, but one day at a time. Although I also have to convince my fellow sword worlders of the thing, but Are you looking to purchase into it? I didn't realize. Are you in the iridium sponge market or positronic brain market?
I have some contacts that are interested in it for positronic brains, and other contacts that are interested in it for not positronic brains.
Not positronic brains? Oh, I suppose you can use it for starships and such.
No. The kind of non-positronic brain applications that make entrance into the Imperial market difficult.
What? Like what? What could you possibly use with the iridium sponge that the Imperials don't like? They haven't banned AI now, have they? They're not quite that foolish.
No, They haven't banned the expansion of positronic minds, merely the expansion of organic ones.
So they have a thing against cybernetics. That's strange.
Remember, it's relatively new research.
Yeah, I'm thinking in my mind, do I have to spell this out for you?
You could roll curiosity. Something's odd here.
I will roll curiosity under 3, I guess. Nope.
Carry on.
Then I'll say, I'll ask her opinion of that book, that Sword World book that might have psionic information for female sword wielders. What her opinion on that is, because I don't want to insult her. So I don't want to insult you. So what's your opinion on this topic, right? The Sword World use of psionics.
Psionics, I think, is a very interesting study, and I do appreciate the way sword wielders really deal with it, because they centered around spiritual enlightenment, self-realization, guiding others to the proper path, rather than it being this pervasive thought police structure that the Jordani have. I honestly think the Daryen could benefit from more research. I mean, they are doing side drugs because money's money, but at the end of the day, but I really think they could benefit from looking inward a bit more on the psionic level than it is the overly focused on the technological expansion. So, I haven't studied the book myself. It's not a particular thing I've really looked into myself, but maybe I should look into that. It is The issue for me is that as a woman of standing in a militant's role, the more traditional of the sword worlds tend to frown upon me taking on a woman's task if I'm in a man's profession. I could do it, I suppose. I mean, I'm high enough rank. I don't think anyone would dare say boo to me.
Sometimes I forget these. Daryens don't have the same appreciation or lack of appreciation in some areas that the sword wielders do.
As you travel more, you'll learn more.
Sorry, say that again?
If you travel more, you'll learn more.
Knowing your stance on this, the iridium is for psionic applications. I don't have a deep understanding of the science because my interest is in selling it to those who do, not using it myself. And the Sword Worlds itself is not a great source at the scale I need. The Imperium is. But it's illegal in the Imperium. And I was hoping that as a sword worlder, you knew of a solution without starting another war.
I would just buy the iridium sponge, I suppose, and just sell it to the appropriate people. I mean, it's legal to buy and sell it normally. I mean, if they found out you were using it for psionic means, that would get the Imperial legal enforcement, and well, probably one of their naval committees will probably, one of their moots will start crawling up your business.
It would, and any roguish activities I've undertaken have been only because of the war. I'm not interested in roguish activities since the war has ended.
I'm certain.
But, if you don't have a route, that would be fine. I might have other contacts that might have a route or a contact.
I mean, if you just want to buy iridium, it's quite easy. Iridium sponges. There was a huge sale on. Where was it? One moment. She gets up and walks over to her computer and taps at it. Let's see. Where was it? Oh, yes, I did a short jaunt down to Struden. There was a huge sale on iridium sponge. Something to do with a mining accident or some nonsense. So maybe the sale's still going on. I mean, I got quite a bit of my sponge when I did my my week trip there.
Might I ask where you managed to sell it and what the proceeds looked like?
Oh, I've sold it a couple places along my route here in the Sword Worlds. I'm hoping to take some out to... Some of it's been consigned by some... You know... That seems rather odd. Now the... She walks around a bit.
Is this time for a persuade or something?
No, she seems to be thinking
Okay.
about something. I remember there part of my consignment's actually going. Part of my cargo for Iridium Sponge is going to Quirion ultimately. But I've been selling it just along the way because where it's profitable, obviously, and buying up more. But my high quality, I'm largely getting to Quirion. I expect to make a fair amount of money. So if you were to do it for that, I suppose you could sell it to the Zodani. That seems like a good way to make a lot of money. Although I wouldn't brag about it at the at any of the summer meets in Daryen, because some Daryen take the war kind of personally. Even though they won, but still.
Do you own the route the whole way, or did you sell to someone who trades on Quirion for you?
Well, I haven't sold it yet. I'm heading that way. There was an order that someone placed to go to ship part of that to Quirion, with the promise that I would get a large payout at the end. So I don't have any money yet, but I expect to make quite a bit of revenue sitting on my books in the mega credit range.
This is exactly the kind of market I want to get into. Are you trying to develop this contact that you bought it from long term, or was this a one-term venture with them?
For me, it's one term. I mean, my reputation precedes me, so I'm a trusted trader after all. So, and despite the war, Imperials the Vellani are willing to trade with a hero captain, because they know if I wanted to kill them, I simply would. If I'm choosing not to, then they may deign to be in my presence. But I mean, if the mega credit turns out at Quirion, I might go back and do it again if I so feel like it. I mean, I'm less a merchant captain than I am a traveler.
Then, if I do, I have some knowledge which would greatly benefit you. If I do you a good turn, would you consider giving me information of equal value? I'll let you be the judge of the value information I give, but if you judge it valuable, will you share in like?
If I deem it so, yes.
Then
she folds her arms and just waits patiently.
I would not travel back to the Empire, because the iridium you sold, I know what it's being used for. It's being used for psionic development on Quirion. I have a good source on that information, which means if you were in Imperial space when you took possession, you've committed a crime, and although no one may catch you now, if word ever makes it back, your trading in the Empire could be curtailed.
Oh, that means I'd have to go through Vargir space. I hate those dogs.
Now, if you find that information that might protect your independence from an Imperial gel cell valuable, I could use the name of your contact, because someone would like to replace him in the market. Rather abruptly and rather to his own demise.
Well, if you wish to report me to whatever Imperial friend you have, I sincerely don't care if the Imperials try to stop me. They are welcome to ignite that particular conflict if they so choose. But
I don't threaten you. I would not turn you in. But the Imperials may decide to arrest you regardless. I won't tell them. That is, you may not trust me, but I will not turn you in. But even if I don't turn you in, the Imperials could decide to make a war of this just because they can.
You are attempting command.
Am I?
Yeah. Tell me this, or that this information may be useful to you.
I'm trying to strike a bargain with her. I have zero intention of using anything I've learned against her.
But why would her telling you this information help her in any way, if she's already in trouble, the way you've presented it?
because she now knows that she needs to be careful if she trades in the Empire, right? I'm not.
Oh, that's what
telling
you're
her-
saying. Oh,
I
okay.
gave her this wholesale for free, and now I'm asking for the benefit on the backside. She could screw me over by just taking this information and shoving me off the ship, right?
Yeah. So what is it you're trying to get? What are you trying to get from her in particular? Because at this point, yeah,
I want who she bought it from.
Oh. She shrugs, and actually, on that basis, sorry, I misunderstood. She just casually tells you, "Oh, there was a SUSAG executive I spoke to, at one of our at a dinner we had on Struden."
Does she give me the name?
I could pull it up if it particularly bothers you. Sure. 1 second.
My benefactor would need a name.
Who is your benefactor anyway? Because it doesn't sound like the Daryen are behind this.
No. No. Do I even know it's an Imperial Knight? Did y'all tell me? Y'all didn't tell me. I would say my benefactor has played very delicately by sending several intermediaries to me.
Sounds like a Villani plot. Or Jordani, I suppose. Though I don't think the Jordani... Well, they might. They're strange. They have their moral grounds they stand upon.
I suspect it's a customs officer who's wanting a promotion.
Yes, I spoke with a... Well, let me write it... Here, I'll write it out for you on a pad and give you some information. That's not terribly difficult for me. Let's see. You don't mind it being at Senegal, do you? Or would you rather it in Sidel? In the Daryen tongue?
Either works.
Sure. I'd prefer to work in Senegal if you don't mind. Just a more friendly language. She types at her computer and starts pulling up information. And then the GM in the sky loses the information he just found. 1 second. There it is. Boop.
As long as she's pulling a name out of the computer and not a sword, I am content to wait.
Sixth Undersecretary Gigio Ganesia. Here you go. Hands you a data pad with what you know she did. She went a little above beyond bound just writing the name. She pulls up like the file of the person because they are like one of the undersecretaries of the SUSAC Mega Corporation. So you see like a picture and their name, and she writes out little notes like, I met him here. And it will go so far as to list like, oh, I met him at this salon on this date, according to Imperial Reckoning such and such.
Oh, thanks for the testimony. Am I wrong? Are calling cards actually a thing in the
They are, yep.
equipment list? Do they have a cost to them?
Negligible at your social standing. They cost like 10 credits or 5 credits, something like that. But at your social standing, that'd be something I expect you to have.
I extend a calling card out to her and say, that concludes the business of what I came here for. Although I am commissioning a 1,100-ton armored battle trader on Daryen, and I definitely think...
You'd like me to test its defenses? Launch a few missiles at it to see how quickly it can be cracked?
Oh, if only you wanted to try. I don't think a few missiles would matter. But if you ever are trading in a few missiles and you'd like to send them as cargo to me, I would love to do business with you.
if our paths cross again, perhaps we'll see. Who knows? Maybe you'll be arrested or fall down a flight of stairs between here and there. Or make up for your crimes to the Sword Worlds.
If there is to be a reckoning of crimes done, I am near the bottom of the list with the mass murder and mayhem committed by Imperial, Sword World, and Daryen naval officers.
Never underestimate the heroes that seek glory. I have no need to gain glory off of a minor rogue entertainer like you. But there are some who might want to make their way into the gentle class of the Sword Worlds on your blood.
I used to run as the 4th and 5th officer on a freighter that traveled from Imperial space through Sword World space and into Daryen space. The number of Sword Worlders who wanted to kill me for short-term gain has been high ever since then, and they have yet to succeed.
Meanwhile, outside on the gangplank, Calvin and Tarbin, you're meeting quite a few people. They're all happily chatting with you, and the level of intensity of any sort of negative feeling they have against Evelani and, well, Tarbin is, I imagine you're speaking Anglic with these folk. Actually, correct me if I'm wrong if you two are speaking Anglic or not to them.
What are they speaking to us? Does Tarbin know Sagamal?
No, but Tarbin does Ursodic, Anglic, and Zedetl.
They would presume Anglic because you don't look Sagmal, and one of you is a Valani. So it's like, well, okay, we don't know Valani, or if they do, they don't want to speak it, so they would start in Anglic.
Yeah, all right, we'll continue in Anglic then.
Yeah.
So I think the Valani Anglic is the language of the Valani, right?
Yes.
There's a Valand language that only certain Valani use. It was the Anglic before the Valan language was the Anglic before Anglic became a thing. Back in the second Imperium.
From what I read, it's like Latin is today to us.
Yeah. Right? Some Valani still speak it though. They probably, especially in the core world, on the capital, they might speak it just to show off that they're educated. So like Latin.
We don't have a capital kind of Valani. We have a lived on Asgard kind of Valani.
Yes.
But they don't make fun of you. They speak with the Anglic and they chat about the wine and you know, everyone seems rather in good spirits. Although a few people are watching the gangplank a little like they're waiting to hear something, or they're waiting for something, some sort of signal or sign or something like that.
They mentioned they have a lot of books for sale. Tarbin and I were sort of interested. Could they lay them out in front of us to see?
Oh yeah, one of them opens up one of their foot lockers and starts laying out a few data slates and some paperback leather-bound books that they have.
Paperback leather-bound? My god, that's rare, isn't it?
Yeah, most people don't bother with it unless they're a low-tech world to begin with. Then they have to use those. They don't have a choice.
Well, you know, when technology fails, I do love the feel of paper on my hands. Tarbin, anything you'd like?
Yeah, I'm going to look for some interesting cookbooks and/or anything on the Ursai diaspora, or the Ursid diaspora, I guess.
Actually, there are a couple data slates on the topic written by some Valani scholars.
Anything that seems to be something I haven't already read or am aware of?
I'd say so, yeah. There's a couple that are like, oh, that's an interesting point of view from a certain time period of Ursine diaspora that details how a particular trade captain learned. Like they were like a trade captain first, and they were a scholar once upon a time, and they detailed certain movements of Ursine moving from Terra to the Ursine world, and how that turned out, and how they moved along that route. So it's actually super early in that first jump from Terra to the New World, which this person just found interesting. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to write about it. Why? I'm in the same bit of space they're traveling through, so I might as well write about it." And it actually turned out to be it's academic, but it's sort of like a gentle scholar, traveling scholar book. So it's a little more approachable as a book rather than dense.
Yeah,
and
so
jargon.
I will see if I can't negotiate a good price for those and any cookbooks that I find particularly interesting.
Give me trading intelligence 2 dice.
Okay.
Was it 2? Is 2 the base? I think it's 2. I'm gonna make sure. Trader has a suggestion, so it sounds right though. Why am I doing it that way? That's slow. This is faster. Oh, sorry, it's 3 dice with 1 that's uncertain. So you roll 2 dice, I roll 1. So it'd be 3 die with 1 uncertainty, intelligence plus trader, to see if this is to figure out what a good price for the book is, to make sure they're not overselling you or underselling you. Or if they are underselling you, then you know it.
Okay, so I'm rolling 2, you're rolling 1.
Yep.
As the secret die. Okay, so my target number is a 14. There's a 10 there.
From what you can gather, it seems that for the whole kit and caboodle, for all the cookbooks plus that particular book regarding the Ursine diaspora, they're selling it for about 6,000 all told.
Mm-hmm.
And you do some calculations in your head, it's like there's a huge markup there. You feel there's a markup on that. It's not worth nearly that much. You think it's possible you could bend their arm to go a more fair price would be somewhere in the 3,000 to 1,000 range to get the quality of books and data sites you're looking for, but they're charging way more than that in the hopes that you don't know that that's how much these books are worth.
All right, can I bargain them down some?
You certainly can.
It's broker, right?
Oh, there we go. Give me 3 dice intelligence plus broker.
Okay. All these are known.
These are all known, yep.
Okay, so that's just 12. Yeah. Yeah, 5. Close to an absolute or spectacular success.
And you are... What's your broker skill itself?
2.
2? Okay. given that you're such a good sport and you seem to know what you're talking about, you go back and forth, and you learn that part of the reason they marked it up is some of the stuff is fairly far away. They took it from the they had some buyers in the Imperium, and you go, well, yes, but I'm taking off your hands now, right here, standing at the table, and it's going to an Ursine, so that's a nice thing for you to do. And they go, yeah, you're right, and eventually you go back and forth, and they appreciate that, just out of camaraderie of you being a good sport about wine, and not good sport, but a connoisseur of wines.
Mhm.
They'll knock it down to 5,500. They'll knock out 500. Why not?
It still seems a little overpriced, though, right?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
You get the feeling off the back of that they must have a buyer who's willing to buy at a higher price.
I'll cover some of the cost for you if you want.
No, it's not a matter of price. It's a matter of, I don't think any of this is so rare that it's worth overpaying by that much.
Yeah.
Am I right in that?
Yeah, they're charging quite a bit for this.
Yeah. So yeah, if I can't get them down any further than that, just no sale. It's interesting, but it's not all that rare.
You go, oh, okay.
Well, I'll take because Calvary comes from a pre-agricultural and what else kind of world? Hang on. So he comes from a pre-agri and a pre-high population world. He'd like to buy one of the leather-bound books, perhaps. They seem of interest to him. Anything that covers anything I'm interested in?
You find a dense almanac about the weather systems, circa 900 Imperial reckoning of some developing pre-agri world in the Imperium.
Sheesh, almost 200 years ago. How much?
This? Oh. $900? Shrugs.
Sure, I'll give it to you. Something to keep me busy during these long days of the trip.
For 900, I can't say more than that, but yeah, you buy it off the book. You now have this book on. Let me give you the world name. I can give you the full name of it because that'd be more helpful to you.
I'm sure it'll come in handy at one point,
Oops.
If you could time travel.
Yeah, I can't control F in it. That's a shame, but it's the start of my humble collection.
The Arbor World and the Lydian subsector, Spinward March of 1721. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. You know where this book is talking about. Back inside. Well, Sir Calcian, I may seek you out, but we shall see how the Asir fare and how the spirits of the Daryen are able to guide us. But I'll be honest and frank with you. I have no great interest in speaking with you again. Unless there's profits to the Sword Worlds, obviously. I am not so blinkered by my disdain for your crimes that I'm willing to turn away benefit to the people, to the noble Sagmal.
There is always profit in talking to me.
She gestures for you to walk back out again.
I will do so.
She will grab something on the way out.
I
And
prepare to die.
She grabs. She gestures as you're walking through the ship back to the gameplay. She snaps her fingers at somebody and says, "Grab that little bear that we had." And they kind of go, "Oh, okay," and they wander off. She gives you a gesture. One moment.
I'm kind of worried now because if she means they have a small captive Ursine, this is about to be a dangerous situation.
The crew member comes back and hands her a tiny little teddy bear with a little bow tie on, and she holds it out to you.
I take a sigh of relief that this is not a living bear. I will take it.
So you can dream in safety.
I assume there is a Aesir who is associated with bears. Can I ask curiosity on this?
Sure.
Because my first two thoughts are there's an Aesir that is associated with bears that is about good dreams. My second thought is there's a bomb in this. Oh no.
Yeah, you've been given a teddy bear, a tiny teddy bear. It's soft.
I squeeze it a little to make sure there's no hard metal cylinders in the middle.
Tink. So there's some sort of ball bearing in the middle, and then it makes and then you feel a slight spark at your thumb, and you hear it go rawr, and the little arms move.
Aww.
She smirks.
I find this amusing, but I don't understand it. I bow and say, I wish I had something so valuable to give to you. And I'll leave. I'm not sure. I don't know if I've ever met an Ursine. Is it taboo to have Ursine plushies?
Well, we're gonna find out. Show it to Tarvin. Look, it can even roar. It's cute.
Yeah, I'd walk down the gangplank carrying a little stuffed bear.
Tarvin, look! Isn't it absolutely magnificent? I had one when I was a child.
I'm wondering if Arctos Jr. is an appropriate name.
You can stop wondering. It is not.
Oh, but it's so lovely. Look at it. May I?
The thing is, I don't know. I don't know why I have it, so I don't know what is acceptable to do with it.
You notice various Sagmal are chuckling when they see you holding it, and they seem to be, some are being polite about it, trying to stifle the laugh. Some of them are just laughing at you for some reason. But no one's pointing out why it's so funny to them. Meanwhile, the random other gentle people who aren't sword wielders are like...
I should have asked this. I just spent 4 years living on Grom. Can I use Grom world knowledge?
Certainly. And
This
intelligence,
is what I should have asked for before.
2 dice.
Yeah, this is only double 6 failure.
So one of the niceties that you do as a trade captain or traveling sword wielder captain, there's a tradition of giving parting gifts to people who you've brought aboard, but they're not coming with you, and you give them a tiny little gift. Usually, it's usually in measure of how much you respect them, or how glad you were to have had them aboard. So a normal gift for an adult, you would give them like a weapon, like a knife or a pistol, maybe a drink if they're not. If they don't like weapons for whatever reason, like they're a priest, they're like, oh, we'll give you something cool that an adult would like. If it's a little itty bitty child who wets the bed and really wants to be a brave soldier one day, a true warrior, you give them like a little plushie.
I hand the bear to Calvier.
Yes, thank you. Oh, it's adorable. My mother got me one when I was a child. Oh.
And realizing the insult and wanting to poke back, but not poke back too hard, I turn around, give a overstated bow, and say that I don't have a gift at the moment to present, which is unfortunate, but I will have an entire anthology of music produced under the tenure of Sir Calcian Langhoff, president of the Music Society of the Sword Worlds, sent over as thank you. And then I will leave.
Oh, you can give me a roll.
Oh, thank you for the gift. It was very lovely.
It might have. I was trying to poke and not poke too hard. I may
Well,
have
I think you
poked too
poked.
hard.
I think you bit. Yeah.
Give me
Just
give me 3 dice on your social standing.
That can't be too hard.
Should I be looking for modifiers?
If you have a skill that you think will blunt the blow and make it more jabbing, less cutting. Because you know from Grawl language, I can tell you for now, for Grawl, or being about the Sagmal, cutting a sword ruler usually results in them cutting back. Usually, literally.
That's the point. I was cutting back because I was cut.
I mean, if you want to start a duel, you can. You don't need to roll for that.
I guess suggesting fighter would not be an appropriate suggestion.
Unless you're trying to get her to duel you.
I'm assuming that would not be to first blood. That would be to death.
Column A, column B. Depends on the flux roll than that. You can make a really hard jab that it's just insulting enough, but not enough to start a duel.
If I did use fighter, would that bring all the sword wielders down on me, or just her?
You'd be pushing her to duel you.
I mean, I've got strength and dex A and fighter 4. I'm not actually that afraid of her. I'll do it if I can add it, because that means I'm rolling a 14.
So, if you're trying to get her to duel you...
I don't want her to duel me. What I want is... you have insulted me, I have insulted you. This is the appropriate place to leave it off. If you don't, then you are bringing on the duel. I'm not saying I want to duel you. I'm saying we have both insulted each other. If you push it any further, I will duel you, and it will be your fault.
It wouldn't be fighter that would fire that then. It'd be something like Stewart or counselor, maybe diplomat. Yeah, something along that line.
Would it be social instead of a social roll, but a social check?
It's a social standing check. You're pushing you're insulting someone of much higher. You're trying to insult someone of much higher rank than you, without forcing them to have to answer it in a violent mean. You're trying to play within the lines.
A mod for being fluent in Samagal?
I'll give you +1.
So then I'm looking at 11, less than 3d6. So, wait, if I fail this roll, am I going to be fighting a duel anyways?
Something will happen.
I'm trying to decide, do I make the situation worse? Can I ask that as a thing?
As curiosity, sure.
Do I make this situation worse by using fighter, or if I fail, regardless of what is used, do I get in a duel, right?
Oh, I can tell you. Sorry, I'll tell you that from a mechanic's point of view. So, right now, if you're using fighter at all, that's you trying to do. That's a different role. You're trying to goad her into a duel because someone of her rank doesn't have to answer your duel. She's too high ranked, but you could goad her into one. If you're trying to jab her, because she jabbed you, if you're trying to jab her, but not just enough to insult her, but not enough to trigger retaliation, then that's the role you're doing now. If you fail it, she might duel you, but she might do something else in retaliation. But it won't be like a dog pile of everyone trying to kill you or nothing, but she will retaliate in some way.
Okay.
Whereas if you succeed, you get the jabber, and she'll just kind of let it go because it's not. It turns out it's not. You put it in such a way that it's not enough for her retaliation to be honorable. It would make her look bad, but you're making her look bad anyway.
I'm inclined to use fighter because she is chosen to be a sword wielder culturally, right? She is going to respond favorably to challenges of violence, right? Flowery language might get me out of this situation, but it's not going to make her a usable contact in the future. But standing up to her and being willing to tolerate violence in the act, right? Yeah, I'm gonna use fighter. I may be using flawed logic, but I think it makes sense. It makes sense to me.
It turns into a formidable roll to goad her into a duel.
Oh, well then I probably can't make that.
Because of the difference in rank, she doesn't have to. You're not close enough in rank that it's easy to goad her, but you could in theory, because it's formidable to get her to do that. Because at least that way, if you did the fighter and you got it, you'd know exactly what the retaliation would be. Whereas if you fail a different roll, it's a lower die roll because you're smoothing over something that's rather minor currently. But you are insulting her a little bit, so it might turn into something else. Unlikely to be a duel, given I've given you this information about how hard it is to goad her. I'll tell you that much.
What is unlikely to be a duel?
If you do a non-fighter roll to try to insult her, but not force her into a duel, she'll retaliate in some other way. But if you use fighter and whiff, then it makes you look bad because you challenge. You're trying to goad her, and then she just ignores you.
My chances of success are about 50-50 either way. And I think I get what I want if I succeed at the fighter roll. I think if I succeed at the normal roll, this situation is resolved, but I want her as a contact because she's a powerful traitor.
If you make the non-fighter roll, she will it would be an insult, but not enough to drive her off. She would just like, oh, she insulted you, you insulted her back, sort of thing.
Oh, do I have it the other way around?
I believe you do.
Okay, because I was thinking she's playing into the sword worlder culture. She is going to understand violence more than words. Oh, then I will just not do the fighter.
Okay.
Success.
Oh, there you go. Some of the chuckling stops, and then people kind of look somewhat excitedly between you and her. Because they hear the insult, they think a lot of the sword worlders seem eager for something to happen. Nadal just kind of smirks at the joke, and she says, if you can find any hard copies, I'm sure I could listen to some of the pre-war music.
I'll have to look. I think I had a cargo bay of them, but I think all the ones on Graham have been burned.
Maybe they're quite valuable. Buy your way to respectability. And it turns into this back and forth jab of things, and it ends up being a sort of insult off for a short minute. And
that's what you do at salons.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're able to that has been resolved at least.
Now Calvert gets to keep his bear, and I get to keep face.
Yay!
Rawr.
Very good.
He waves its all arms.
I'll push the bear's button. Yay!
Carvin just kind of walks off in disgust.
Yeah, there's
another duel.
Seeing how much Calvert loves the bear, I'll just make a vague comment of Imperials and gesture towards him as we leave.
I speak Sagamal. Fluently, actually.
There was only like 4 or 5 times
Whoops.
where I might have accidentally died there.
Only a couple. So the three of you go to the normal. Where are the three of you headed?
I assume we can sleep off tonight, maybe, and head for the ship.
Sleep
tomorrow,
off.
right?
I haven't. It's actually time to go visit the Travelers Lounge bar to to have a few drinks to let the steam off from nearly being murdered several times.
Sure. I'll order a small drink for the bear. Not our bear, the plushie.
They give you a little toy glass to put in its hand. It's magnetic.
Yay.
It sticks.
I love the future. The future has so many nice things.
People give Tarbin a worrying glance of, oh, he's not going to hit me, is he? Do the three of you go to the TAS bar, the TAS lounge?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to tell y'all. I'll say this, we're getting to the bar. I have the identity of the person we're looking for. In fact, our friend the hero captain is the smuggler. Unknowingly the smuggler. And I have the person who sold it to her, so I'm sure we can send this, and in several months you'll hear back from your contact that we were correct.
Do you have any hard evidence? Because we cannot just go on hearsay. If this person gets confronted, it's going to be our word against theirs.
I'm not traveling to any Imperial court. I'm not an Imperial customs official. We can give them the information they need to investigate the right person, and they'll find it, right? We give them this name, they'll go to the corporate office, have their computer seized, and look over it, and they'll find the hard evidence, right?
Could you send me all the data to my communique, and I'll make sure it gets over to our patron?
I just hand you, I assume, like a small little data chip.
It's on a data slate. You just copy it to a data chip and hand it over.
I will just give you that.
I'll write an email to our patron. Hi there, long time no hear. Say, about that thing that we talked about, we found something out. You might want to take a look at this data chip and, hand over the data.
And where did you last see him?
2 planets ago, if I'm not mistaken.
So at best, he won't hear about this for 2 weeks.
At best.
I'm also. You mind if I add a couple things into your report?
No, naturally.
Do we want to workshop
So-
this email?
We're sending this to the guy assigned to the subcommittee for naval affairs, right? That's who asked you to look into this.
Yes.
So I'm going to briefly outline the research that Tarbin found and our suspicions regarding its ultimate destination and use at Quirion, because that sounds like something that the Imperial Navy might want to keep an eye on.
Give me anything else you're adding to? Sorry, before I jump in.
I think that's it. And we can attach the research papers that.
Give me intelligence plus author 2d6 to write up a nice summary and tie this little case together for your patron.
Okay, so I don't have anything in author, but I do have Jack of all trades 2. So at that point, I use the Jack of all trades for the skill, right? So 12 would be my intelligence plus the 2 Jack of all trades.
You use If I believe with Jack of all trades, you use half of it for your skill.
Is it?
Oh, let me check on that. To the skills section.
Scroll.
Jack of all trades, page 154.
1.5. Oh, I was just there. Oh no, you use it straight. Okay.
So you said 2d6?
Yeah.
Okay, so looking for.
I have from. Jeez, I saw it somewhere.
Well,
I'll find it. I'll find it when I'm not thinking about it. That's what's going to happen.
Got a 5.
I literally looked at the screen when you said that. Author is a skill, writing skill in Traveler. So you write up a suitable summary and essay on the topic, and here's the addendums you have, and the appendix, and so on.
Okay, sounds good.
I know. I was looking up how much it's going to cost to mail this. Oh wait, you're making the TES move it. Never mind. Forgot your TES members. You can get them to mail it for you.
Unless we want to send it fast by Expo, depending on.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know where he
True.
is.
Oh no, he told Calvier where he was going to be at a certain planet for a while. At the planet he talked to him on.
Oh, he's going to be there for a while?
Yeah.
For a little bit, yeah. Because that's where he's
then-
doing. But he's doing stuff there. That's why you say, "Hey, send me stuff back if you're here." If nothing else, if he leaves there, then the mail would probably go off to some naval base until it got to him.
I don't think it's worth worrying about because we're going to move on, which means it's going to take much longer for his reply to get back to us than it will for our message to get to him.
Yeah, you probably won't see immediate payment because you're going to be outrunning how fast the message is getting to him. It'll take a bit for the message to get for his payment or non-payment to come back to you. Because
I say we still send it. So.
Yeah, you send it to him, and then what will likely happen is if he has more questions, he'll send out a call, especially among the travelers. He'll probably tell the travelers, "Hey, get this message to Calvier about this, that, or the other, or come here and we'll discuss it."
We'll have this all wrapped up in 6 or 7 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are able to submit that evidence to Sir Vendel von Alfer, and it will eventually get to him, and he will eventually, one hopes, respond.
And eventually, one hopes, pay us.
Yeah.
And the lounge secretary will take your mail and have it. They'll basically hand it off to any traveler that's heading that way, and they're like, "Hey, you looking for mail? Well, here's a mail slot." They're like, "Okay, we'll take it." What else do the three of you do as you lounge about?
I'd say now we sleep and we board the transport for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think there are drinks to imbibe and food to consume, and then beds to sleep in.
And teddy bears to cuddle.
To each his own.
And that's when the
You have a bear. There's only one other bear left to cuddle, and it's not going to be with me.
Don't mind the thermonuclear device hidden in it. Anyway,
That's why I got rid of it.
There's no thermonuclear device inside a plush of a teddy bear.
Yeah, why would they?
It's a tech level 16 bear.
It in fact emits a black glow.
That's dangerous because black globes, if they intersect matter, they just split the matter in half.
So if you're on a ship with a little bear and
I'd understand if there was like a mind control device or something in that little bear, but there's not. And there's no thermonuclear devices in it. Get your shit together, boys.
You didn't scan for it. It could be in there. You don't know.
I'll use my biosniffer on it.
It is not, in fact, alive.
Good. We've got that to go on. Good.
Yeah.
It won't turn into Paddington overnight or something. I don't know.
Right. So, the three of you enjoy your meals, enjoy the lounge, and board the far trader that is on its way to the Spoon System, along with the other travelers in your group. And they may or may not have learned some things while they were here. But for now, that will be it for this particular session. I think we'll wrap up there. And for all of you who have been watching, thank you very much for watching. For all of you playing, thank you very much for playing. And we'll see you all next time. Have a good one. Or don't have a good one. I'm not your boss.
Ugh.
And we are...